Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also Ko-Fi, Patreon, Crypto and Thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod the Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Revolta, J Mels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Eric Troche, Endless, Goldie McKiernan, Retro Bill, Level Playing Poem, Canna Bear, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
What about SE Montreal?
You mean like was he talking shit? I don't remember. But Elder Bear was the biggest hater. He was calling Nathan sadistic. He was saying like he chased everybody off the server. That's why he's going to different servers right now.
No, that's not why we're
And
going to different servers.
That dude Omnivore
Okay.
jumped in. Yeah, they're just a bunch of haters, man. They have nothing going on. They just hate.
So Mighty Mush, why are we going to other servers?
I don't know. Maybe
Because they're
bigger,
not coming
wider
to us.
exposure,
No,
maybe?
I'm going to tell you why. The ballers weren't coming to us anymore. They all had their little reasons, but really it was because they were going to get destroyed. So we decided they're not going to come to us. We're going to hunt them down. That's why we started doing, reaction videos. And now we're going to other servers to get them moving in the right direction. They're still all about debunking the sphere. Listen to some of the stuff they talk about. We're trying to move them forward. And with that, we're going to get a lot of backlash. But Nathan
Yeah,
can
man.
handle it.
But it seems like a lot of these guys, including Witsit, they're trying to keep it on a, circle jerking, same old arguments and where nothing gets resolved. You know what I mean? And Elder Bear too, like all this flat is not level, and those arguments, they're meant to keep you in that circle jerking nonsense. You know, that's their objective. How do you move past that? You know what I mean? Like I'm waiting for the new people. And there's no lack of Globers here either, man. Just that they're all in a text chat. They're afraid to go on a voice channel.
I wouldn't want to say it's so biggie it's flat out loud either.
Right? You guys didn't know the Flat Earth started in the black community, man?
What was that about?
Oh, gosh, man. That dude, Theo Von, he claims that Flat Earth started in the black community because he heard it first in a Burger King one time.
Come again?
You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make it up, dude.
Say that again.
Did you?
No, I'm serious. Did you see the video, dude? I put it in the Skype. Theo Von, like he's a comedian. I don't know what the hell he is, dude. He claims the FE started in the black community because that's where he heard it first, in the Burger King.
Flat Earth, I think, started in the black community 5 years ago. I was at a Burger King and a black gentleman told me this true story about Flat Earth.
I love it. So the world basically revolves around you, and if you heard it from a black man is where it began. I mean, perfect logic.
Another intellectual hotbed.
Well, I'm just saying.
The Burger King bathroom.
But here, no. So he told me, he goes, look, man, I'm going to tell you. Bro, Flat Earth, bro. Like,
Okay, is that, from that you thought that was where it all began, right? A guy in a Burger King bathroom going, "Flat Earth, bro."
No, Nathan, you're missing it. This is intentional. This
bro,
is
no.
total
School,
intentional.
bro. Okay. Like, not flat earth. And I thought he was crazy, dude. 40 minutes later, I thought he was maybe crazy.
The flat earthers made a big push.
But then
Did we made a big push, did we? See if that gets substantiated.
3 years later, flat earth is a huge thing.
No, it's not a huge thing.
Dude, and it's
Led by B.O.B., the rapper.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it all began. Basically, it's just down to B.O.B.
So if you go on his Twitter, he's always like, I don't see a curve.
How's that flat Earth? I don't see your religious belief. So it's referencing your religious belief as opposed to flat Earth, isn't it? Yeah, man. I'd tell you to check out my Twitter feed, but there'd be nothing on there other than adverts for this show. But on this show, we'll tell you that Earth's measured flat.
Posting like skylines, like no curve. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. It's 2024. Earth's measured flat.
Where the curve is. You know?
Very good.
Nathan, check out check out the first video.
Sorry.
Just go back a little bit in the Skype. It's also a short, but it's so retarded, man.
Just
Nathan,
as
I
a
just wanted
point
to ask you where I could send you a direct message. I just wanted to ask you something. I don't want to put it out there, so if there's any way that I can reach you, that would be awesome.
Who are you talking to, Spunky Monkey?
He's asking me.
I was speaking to Nathan.
I don't know. I don't know how you can DM me. I don't use Skype. I use Skype as opposed to Discord. So unless you know me on Skype, you probably can't.
Well, you can still read the message on the Discord if he sends it to you, right? Like you can just DM Spunky Monkey. If you put an at symbol and just start typing Nathan's name, you just literally just send them a direct message. It's
Which
as
I'll
easy
never
as
read.
that.
I don't use Discord for that.
Okay. Fair enough.
You can email me, nathanoakley1980@aol.com.
All right, I'll drop you a mail now. Thanks for that.
AOL? You still got AOL? Wow.
For this, I do, yeah. It's very useful to have some crappy old email account, I assure you.
Mm-hmm. So Nathan, if you're in the mood, just check out the first vid that I posted this morning. It's beyond retarded, man.
Is this the Danny Faulkner thing?
No. Like right after Danny Faulkner, you should see the short. After QE's post.
The Earth isn't flat, but what would happen if it actually was? Well, first of all, we're not even sure if gravity would work, but if...
So we're not even sure if a heliocentric derivation of flat Earth measurements to reify the world into a sphere to have a non-force force that is Euclidean transposition into fourth-dimensional pseudo-Riemannian work. Doesn't work. It hasn't done any work for 109 years. It's not a force. Meanwhile, gas defies the expected behavior that you have of a force of gravity, which is to say that things go down towards the ground. Yeah, they don't. Gas expands in all directions. Just have a look at the clouds.
If it did work, it would pull everything towards the center of the disk. This
Really? So the transposition of your globe belief about a non-force force that you think of as a force that bends geodesics in space-time would force things to the center of a disk reification? No, definitely not.
means that all of the water on Earth would pool in the center. Trees would
What a load of old bollocks.
grow diagonally, and
No, what a load of old bollocks. There is no force of gravity. There certainly isn't one on a reified disk that comes from your world being put through the reeking of having heliocentrism develop from flat Earth and then transposed onto a disk in a sky vacuum. Absurd.
you would never be able to walk to the edge. If you
You're basically taking and repeating what Vsauce did about 10 years ago. Pathetic.
somehow did make it to the edge and then trip, you wouldn't fall down, you would fall sideways.
What, like Vsauce said 10 years ago? Way to not have an original thought in your head.
On top of that, it's a bit unclear what force would keep the sun circling around flat Earth, but
Definitely not gravity. Definitely not circling in terms of the way you believe it's orbiting.
Just as a quick point of order, they're the ones that believe things fall sideways. That's what they believe the moon is doing, and satellites. But it's downward direction, horizontal plane, not a curve, dude. You don't know where you're at, do you?
No, it doesn't understand orbital motion, but it's more than happy to regurgitate Vsauce's explanation for how flat Earth wouldn't work. It's like, it's just a plagiarist. A crap one at that.
Even if it were somehow possible for it to do that, there would be no time zones, no seasons, and
Why? Are you going to substantiate any of this crap?
eclipses wouldn't be possible. Also,
Why wouldn't they be possible? Are you going to actually substantiate any of these baseless assertions?
so satellites wouldn't work, and because
Satellites, what? The orbital motion of a claim to be tin can floating around a sphere Earth by way of a derivation of a radial value that came from a flat Earth measurement of Polaris. It's utterly absurd.
we weren't able to place satellites in our sky, GPS wouldn't work either, or
Ground positioning systems that use flat maps and angles to stars to develop them in the first instance, you think they wouldn't work, what, on a flat Earth? They are working on a flat Earth. All of the measurements for those maps are on a flat Earth. What you think is a tin can in an orbital motion is also a derivation mathematically of those flat Earth angle measurements. So this is totally absurd.
anything else that relies on satellites to function. And if that still doesn't convince you, I'll leave you with
Convince me? You didn't substantiate any of your claims. How would it convince me?
the quote that Jeffrey Russell said in 1997, with extraordinarily few exceptions, no educated person in the history of Western civilization from the 3rd century BC onward believed that the Earth was flat.
Well, why did they measure it that way then? All of them throughout that entire span of history would have measured Earth flat with the stars for navigation. So that's utterly absurd also. Just another baseless assertion being parroted.
He just invoked a category error too with the word belief. Wrong genre.
Yeah. Measurements, beliefs. You're the one with the belief, not us.
The Earth isn't flat, but what?
There we go. That was it. Very good.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Chocolate. Anybody else got anything we want to cover today?
It sounds like they're just chanting to me.
Yeah, well, they're not chanting, they're regurgitating.
Well, these shorts are pretty retarded, man. I got a few more if you want. I just don't know if it's the best review material.
Yeah, stick them
Because it's
in. We'll
literally
do them in the
really
live show.
retarded.
Yeah, we'll save a few for the live show. Why not?
All right, I'll put some in the Skype.
Thanks. Yeah, I heard you talking while I was making coffee and tending to my wife that the reason we're out and about is to bash Globers. That might have been the reason we went out and about a couple of years ago. But that sure as hell isn't the reason why we're going out and about now. Or at least that's not my motivation. My motivation is to speak to people like Jedi and who's the guy that ran the server yesterday? What's his name?
Jeremy.
Not Jeremy, the other one.
Oh, SC Montreal?
Indio.
Well, yeah, all of the above.
India?
No, all of the above, yes, but there was a specific guy that we were interrupting when we first joined. Talking about being kept.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
He's the man. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he was
24/7 you're talking about?
Yes.
Indio.
Indy. Yes. He's the person I want to appeal to. Guy that's got the ear of the audience in his server. Well, that's several of them in that server. And some of them are cross-platform. They go in many servers. And they're the ones that I want banging this drum. Earth's measured flat.
Yeah, that's what I said. I started off with smashing Globers, but then I said just what you said.
We'll have to see if we can go back into the politics server next week.
Yeah, you don't have to bang the drum too loud. The ballers will do it for you.
How do you mean?
That's
I
true.
was just about to say we don't really have to smash the globers. The globers are more of agreeance now than anything else, telling us how it's measured flat. So yeah, except for their little disclaimer that comes afterwards, like, oh, because it's so big. Other than
They
that,
always were telling us that. We just weren't hearing it.
oh, we heard it. We're just responding in a different way now. Instead of saying, no, it shouldn't be as big as you think it is. Or we're just saying, yeah, thanks. So big it's flat? Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you don't have to debunk the logic of a special pleading fallacy, you know? Like when they claim that what they don't know is contradicting what they do know, and then they can, yeah, you just stop them right there.
So we deal with the grass as being green. Yeah, we deal with it green. It's far easier to deal with it green. But that's only because it's purple. What? Well, it's so green it's purple. So we deal with it as green. Okay, so we deal with it as green. Yeah, because it's purple. You can ignore the because it's purple bit as the ramblings of a deranged idiot. Yeah, we deal with it flat. Yeah, it's just easier that way. It's just because it's so big, though, and spherical. That would be not flat. That we deal with it flat. You can ignore the second part as the ramblings of a deranged lunatic. So we deal with it, build on it, measure it flat. Yes, we all agree, yes. What's that you say? Because you say it's spherical, that's why we'd deal with it flat, would we? You're an idiot.
And I thought it was fun when they gave up all the physicality of their horizon. Thought that was fun. This is a lot more fun. Nobody claims the horizon's Earth curve, guys. Except
What
all
was
of
it
us that are
before? Remember,
claiming the horizon's Earth curve, guys.
Chocolate, what they give up before? Remember, they gave up science pretty quick, too. The whole body of science. Science don't prove
Oh
anything.
yeah, science is under the bus now. Science is under the bus with Neil smoking the grass and all of that.
Yeah, that's the road and the path of an anti-flat earther. Relinquish it all. In the name of how globe-shaped it is.
Maybe
The
use
only
some
way to hold
audio.
on. Sorry, bud. Go ahead.
Maybe
Yeah,
use some audio. Yeah, maybe use some audio like it's only in the maths or science, the whole body of science when it was previously stated, then have them contradict themselves in each of these areas and just have the audio do it for, maybe just like a little plug that can go in, an audio bite.
We just
So
quote
that it
them.
can just be.
When it's the individuals,
Oh,
when
yeah.
they were coming here, we just quote them back to them
Yeah,
with their own words.
Okay.
They didn't like that very much. I mean, I know what you're saying. You can have it all lined up, but we've gone through that rigmarole. We've done that. We've gone through it with all of the people who are the main proponents of globe or anti-flat Earth. They've all been here. They've all had their arguments put back to them in quotes. That's happened.
Okay.
Well,
I know. I
Rumpus
mean,
was
I've
the
heard
most fun
Rumpus.
with that one. I was just gonna say Rumpus was the most fun with that one because he was infamous for his the whole body of science proves R, and the whole body of science proves multiplying core. Whole body of science proves everything. So one day he came back in here, and we were like, Rumpus, you were the guy that was telling us how the body of science proves all these things. So does science prove anything?
Lumpy, they're all in QE has the numpty clips. You'll hear it all in them.
Oh, I listen to them over and over just so I can get the logic arguments down. So yeah, I've heard it played, and they are available. But I was just thinking maybe once in a while just make a little 2-minute section where they're
You
contradicting
mean a
themselves with their own
consecutive?
voice.
You mean a consecutive reel of them going like one after the other? Yeah, that wouldn't be a
so it's
bad
kind of like
idea.
that. Yeah, so that it has a little more force, and it kind of will. I just think that anyway. I don't know. I just try to come up with ideas and then share it and then bounce it back and forth. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't keep those sorts of clips just lying around. Huey does. Appeal to him, he'll do something similar because he does keep those clips lying around.
Well, maybe I could maybe, because everything you guys do is clippable, and maybe I could spend a little time and then send it at the AOL to you, Nathan. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to try to drive the show at all.
That sounds like the ideal. If everybody does a little, I don't have to do anything.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'd have no problem. I mean, I spend time here anyway. I'm trying to learn to teach. That's my purpose. Learn to teach. I just got to not do it at work anymore. That's just not working out. Plus, I kind of am a hothead. And like the last day at the last job was I told them they could have my Cadillac if they could verify following strictly the definition of Coriolis, if they could demonstrate Coriolis for me or verify the claim. And then that was my last day there. It's just, I need to, I'm kind of a hothead. I got to get myself a little bit, like, just keep my mouth shut at work. Anyway, sorry, guys.
It's a sad turn of events if you're talking about Coriolis and getting fired for it. Is that what you're implying?
Was the last day that I worked there. Well, they said that my productivity was low or whatever, but I saved 2 bins of parts going to the customer, which would have been John Deere, out of spec, which is a bad thing. Like they could maybe try to find a new supplier if that were to happen too often. So I actually was doing fine. I didn't crash nothing, didn't make scrap, and I found bad parts that other people were trying to send out, which is one of the biggest no-nos in machining, because the assemblers, it'll screw up the production lines for the assemblers and getting everything built, and then they don't have extra parts. They ordered what they needed, and then that sets them back. So anyway, yeah, it's a super bad thing in machining to send parts out of spec. Plus, they don't have to pay for them either, and they can try to make use of them, and they wouldn't be accountable to paying because that's part of the contract, is that the parts follow the blueprints. So I've been doing this stuff a long time. I'm a really good machinist, but flat earth and work is not working. It just doesn't. People are, I even had people say exactly what you hear now. It's so big from tool makers. These guys grind angles to minutes of it, seconds of a degree. Hold tolerances, and they know what angles are. I can't understand it, Nathan. It's craziness. It's this belief thing. Really wild.
Hey, Lumpy, you know what I used to do when I was working in the field? We're working in a theater. We changing the carpet out, so that's a long job. Takes about 3 or 4 weeks. I would have Flat Earth Debate plugged into my Bose speaker and just play it. They got no choice but to listen.
Right. I'd do that back in the day with like Alex Jones when I was kind of that direction. I mean, it's all been kind of, now I'm really interested in what I can know. The speculative stuff is what it is, Anyway, thanks, Nathan and Huey. And yeah, I'm kind of on the level with you, Neil, in regard to Globebusters and that crowd, because I do resent them for kind of like misleading me when I'm trying to learn. I've heard you kind of get at that point, and yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Oh, about plugging in the Bose speaker? Sure. Yeah, I would do that way back in the day with like Alex Jones. Do what?
Here's where the problem was. They didn't mind it so much then. They started getting on my back when I was able to join the show, and then I had it on my headphones, so they weren't hearing it anymore. And if they seen me go off mute to say something, oh, come on, you're wasting time. You're on my time now. Just to hit the mute button and say something, they would go crazy. So I found that funny.
Yeah, because that's what the reasoning is. the last couple of jobs would be spending time on things not work related. And I'd still be in my probation period and that type of thing. Well, the most recent, but yeah, Neil, exactly. They don't. They get vicious, I guess you could say, because helping a guy
Yeah,
to
but the
become
same,
unemployed
but
is
Lumpy, the same people, other people are walking around with their Bluetooth shit on, talking on the phone all day long to their girlfriends.
right.
All day.
I know. I feel you. I
Hey, you know
100%
what?
get it.
You know what you should have done? You should have bent a rod, right? And brought it and said, this is horizontal. And they'd be like, what? So yeah, level is always horizontal at the point of tangency. Earth's a sphere. This is horizontal.
I tried, and I can be, gentle. It gets bad when it's like they're trolling me, Then I start getting frustrated when they're laughing, and they'll have people come across the shop to come try to make a zinger at me, right? And then I'm the one that's wrong for just answering the question the best I can, right? I don't know. There's a lot of just viciousness when you challenge the globe with people. Women are easier, my experience. Men, it seems they want to defend that they didn't figure it out, so then they get frustrated that anybody else is challenging something that maybe they were weak to, which I a little bit identify with. I'm very humbled that almost every argument I've encountered in relation to flat Earth had to be presented to me. I'm just grateful I can say, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean?
That's it right there. Pride. The pride of man. You know, I get that a lot with my son. He'll throw digs left and right because I don't discuss it with him anymore. And he'll throw some stupid remark in there. Like, yeah, well, Dad's a flat earther now, so, and whatever else he says.
Yeah, similar with my family. The last thing I had to say with my sister about it was, I know triangles are hard. That was literally what I said. Triangles are hard. Anyway, it's a mess. By the way, I figured I'd bring it up, but Elder Bear's in the house right now.
Elder Bear, you got a lot to say after the show's over. Why do you hate Nathan so much?
I don't hate
Say
anybody.
on
What are you
again.
talking about? I just ask questions, but they seem to get me into
No,
trouble, and I just get told to
after,
shut the fuck up. Now you always, Neil, you always tell me to shut the fuck up in here, but in QE's the other
after
night, you
Earth
called me out,
Awakenings, you
hoping I
had a
might
lot to
speak.
say. You had a lot to say after we left. What are you even doing here if you hate Nathan so much? I know it's disturbing for you that Earth is flat and it's measured that way, but you've had it explained to you many a times. And then you lied and said you never had it explained to you. What's up with you?
No, he never spoke to me about latitude, is what I said. Specifically about latitude. But then he did say
and he answered you and he said he did.
circles. But then he did say they were concentric circles. Like if you go east, you're going in a circle, that kind of thing. How does that
Elder
work?
Bear, you folks don't understand celestial navigation. Go learn about it. Don't read half the book.
Nathan
Who was it in
exclusively.
Are you
history
talking
who
about in the
positioned
celestial
the
sphere,
ground
they're
position of
concentric?
Polaris?
Maybe you don't understand. In the celestial
Now, how do you go
sphere,
in a circle
they
if you
will
go
be.
east, though?
I'm trying to explain it to
Why
you.
are
You
you
got to calm
cutting
down.
John off when he's explaining something to you?
I couldn't hear that.
Right.
Hang on.
See, oh, you can't hear me. Can anyone else in Discord hear me?
Yeah, I can.
No, of course you're good, man.
Okay. In the
Elder
celestial
Bear's a
sphere,
liar.
there are concentric circles. as involved in mapping. They're concentric circles. But as has been stated, we do not claim the stars have geometry. We're citing sources. Now, if you have a problem with those sources, it's on you to take it up with them.
How can they be not geometric, but you're using them in a geometric fashion then?
No,
It's
we're
an
not.
angle.
We're using them for celestial navigation,
You
not
said,
trigonometry.
yeah, but they
This
don't.
has been explained to you.
They defy
Celestial,
our geometry, but somehow you're claiming geometry. How do you do that?
They
I just
don't
told
obey
you
our
we are
geometry. Nathan
celestial
explained
navigation.
it with the layout.
Please, now.
Oh, God.
Celestial navigation is not trigonometry. It is not
Yeah, well,
geometry.
you keep talking about triangles, and they have certain properties. But latitude and longitude are perpendicular, though. Yeah.
You are not getting this on purpose, maybe?
Latitude and longitude are perpendicular, though, aren't they?
Are you claiming that? Is that your claim, right? You're claiming
Agreed.
they're perpendicular.
No, no. I'm trying to understand what
Why are you
you
saying
said.
it then?
You said.
So you're not saying
Because
it.
that's what
You just said it.
Yeah, stop trying to twist things, Nathan.
What, the words you actually said?
You said
Sorry.
you talked about.
Excuse me, I'm talking. I'm talking.
No, I'm talking.
Really?
I'm talking. I was talking first, and you butted in. I asked
Well, and
about
re-clarified what
latitude and
you said.
longitude.
Yeah,
Are they
re-clarified what you
agreed?
said as the words
Go on,
you
then.
said. Now you don't like those
Yeah, go
words.
on. I'm fine with my words.
Right, well, they're not our words, are they? They're your words. That's why you said them out of your lips.
Yeah,
You
but
just
that's
added the
asking a
words
question.
you're saying.
No, you just.
Yeah, you seem to be
So what
triggered.
is
You seem to not
latitude?
like objections coming to the words you've used when you say
No.
you say they're perpendicular. Nobody said that though. You said it. So
I'm
you're
asking
claiming
you
that, right?
if they are.
So you're
No, I'm
claiming
not
that.
claiming it. No, no claim. No
You're not
claim.
claiming it. Well, then don't
I'm
say it next
asking
time.
you.
Then there's no need to
I'm
say it.
asking you.
Nobody else said it.
So you
Edda
can't
Bear.
answer.
It seems like you're a
Are
bully. I feel
latitude
like I'm
and
being bullied by
longitude
Edda Bear. Is he bullying me? Is it just
you
me?
poor
Is it just me, or
child.
is this guy a real big bully?
I would get rid of him before the actual
He seems to
show
be
starts,
bullying
so
me.
we can.
He's telling me what I'm saying when I'm not saying it, and when I point out he's
I
saying
never
it,
said you
he
said
gets
it.
all stroppy
I
and does
didn't
this
say
and
you
starts
said it.
talking through the middle of me. Let's just calm that down, because obviously no one in the Discord server is going to take control of Edda Bear. He's just a massive bully, right? Telling people what they're saying. What an outrage. No, nobody's saying that. You said that. But then you objected strongly when we pointed out that they were the words that you said. You didn't like it suddenly. Well, it's only acceptable when it's a straw man that you make us say when we haven't said it.
Yeah, you got your magical little twist on things, but that's not what I said.
Yeah, it is. It got recorded. We recorded what you said.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, but
Yeah, so it is what you said then. It's definitely the words you said. They were recorded, you said them. But now you don't like them because they're not our words that you wanted us to be saying. By the phraseology, you say they're perpendicular. No, nobody said that. Except you. But then it's suddenly objectionable if we make it your claim because it came out of your lips.
La, 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 la. So what are latitude and longitude? Are they perpendicular to each other then? Can you educate
Do you
me?
think they're perpendicular? Are you nuts? Do you
I'm
think
asking
that?
you.
Are you thinking that? It sounds very much like you think they're perpendicular to one another. Why would you make such a
Sounds like
claim?
you're talking like a
Can you
glober.
back?
If you've got
Can you back your claim
what claim?
that they're perpendicular, as you have stated twice now?
No, I'm asking you.
All right, you're asking. All right. Did anybody mention that?
Well, you did when you were talking about celestial.
Nobody mentioned the word perpendicular when describing latitude and longitude. Nobody said that. Literally, those words didn't cross my lips. That makes you a liar. I did not say that.
You called it a grid.
So did I say that they were perpendicular? Because the words that you used and said I didn't say, making you a liar.
Well, then you can tell me what they are.
Well, what I actually said was they take the system that circles that you've already detailed, wrap it around a ball, project it onto a tube, and then roll it out flat for the transverse Mercator grid. That's what I actually said.
On a flat Earth, I'm talking about.
Right, did you not hear what I just said? It didn't include the word perpendicular.
He didn't say globe either. So where are you getting, like, all of that was
You
flat
just
Earth.
did. It was taken
How
from
did
the
you not get
globe.
that?
And the Mercator projection.
That's flat.
Yeah, and the globe is a projection from a flat Earth measurement.
Oh, just trying to work out, if that
No, you're not.
if the latitude
No,
and
you're not.
longitude were perpendicular, how if you're going east, you
Well, why
would
don't you
go
go
in
and figure that out then? Why are you asking us? Nobody said that. So you've just got some ramblings of a deranged idiot, some fantasy that you've decided to come up with and project onto us by way of lying about things we haven't said. That makes you a bully and a scumbag and a liar. Edabert, I don't like you. You're a
Really?
disgusting human being. I really don't like being around people like you. You're scummy and slimy. And you say things that people haven't said and infer that they've said them. That just makes you disingenuous, scummy, straw man building wanker. That's what it makes you. Did you have some objections about me? I understand that you don't like me very much. Yeah, people who get exposed as disingenuous and scummy, people who put words in other people's mouths 3 times in spite of the objections not to do that, those people are scumbags. That's you, Edabert, a scumbag.
concentric circles, you said. So something's going round in a circle, around a center point somewhere.
Yeah, they're areas of equal elevation measured with respect to Polaris.
Well, you don't know anybody who even positioned that there. Nobody's ever done it.
Right, they're circles of equal elevation. That's what
You're
they
just
are.
assuming.
Sorry, does that answer your question? It seems like I've answered his question and he's just completely ignored it and told me what people aren't doing now. It's almost like it's falling on deaf ears. Like, scumbag. Yeah, you're not listening to what I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, you're polar centric, North Pole centric.
What, with areas of equal elevation, also known as circles of equal elevation? Those circles you seem to want to object to, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but that would be a scumbag making it seem like this is my claim when it's actually a purpose-built navigation system using Polaris and the circles of equal elevation with it at its centre. Yeah, these are my claims, but yet you want to level it and make me like I've suddenly claimed perpendicular when no one's used that word. You've tried it 3 times. I've pointed out you're a scumbag for doing so. You haven't addressed me, you've interrupted me like you're interrupting me now. We've addressed your scumbaggery and you've not addressed or responded to any of the things we've put to you. I don't know why we're putting them to you. It's falling on deaf ears most of the time anyway.
He's a waste of
trying to
time.
picture it. John, the Nickelodeon guy, he said that he'd spent a lot of time questioning 10th Man
Oh my God.
about it.
Can we shut the
And then
village
you
idiot up?
said,
Kick him
and then
out.
you said, oh, now you've got that burden. And so, there's a chance for
Yeah,
everybody to
you
ask
said it.
questions
You got the
and try and
burden.
find out the
Right.
answer.
Right. You said it. You have the
So
burden.
right.
Right.
Nathan's
And
got the burden to carry of the people asking him questions, like you asked 10th Man. Remember?
uh-huh.
A year and a half you said
and
you
I
were doing
answered
it.
it. You just added words into my mouth I didn't say. Nathan pointed it out, and then all of a sudden it's Nathan's burden. You are a sorry individual.
No, Nathan said that. Nathan said that the other day, that 10th Man was pretty pissed off at having to put up with, what he deemed to be, ridiculous questions or something. Now Nathan's had to take that on.
Never
and
said
he's now
that.
having to do
You're
that.
lying.
Yeah, the difference
Well, you
is
did. You can go and listen to the recording.
there's a difference when it's somebody that likes you and doesn't intentionally put words you haven't said into your mouth.
Well, you can go and listen back to the recording, what he said.
So ignore that
And what
statement.
you
Just
said.
ignore your own behaviour, right? That's why we're off with you. Yeah, because you're a disingenuous scumbag who puts words in people's mouths. And when they try and point it out to you, you start
I was just
interrupting,
asking
like you're doing now,
questions,
kind of
but
a
you
bit scummy. Like you've decided to start this conversation in the middle of my telling you how your behaviour's scummy. You decided that that's the point in the middle of that sentence that you're going to start talking. Yeah, so you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to any objections. You're going to talk straight through the middle of them. Because in your mind, not listening to them involves you just talking straight through the middle of people describing to you how your behaviour is objectionable.
That's all right. I don't have to worry about that, do I?
See, he's one of the Bevites who asserts geometry as truth. If you make the statement that the stars don't obey geometry, you're in direct
Nathan said
contradiction
that.
of his religious belief. Your religious belief is that geometry is
I don't
truth,
have
and
a
this
religious
bothers the hell out of you. I see right through you, man.
And
It
Why are you
scares
talking
me
through
dead.
everybody when they're talking, Eddie Bear? Why are you talking through people?
all right.
Because he's a scumbag.
All right, Nathan.
Because he's got no argument. He's only got chaos to try and induce. Yeah, with his scumbaggery and his lies and his deceit and he's putting words in people's mouths. That's his only tactic. He doesn't actually have any arguments. The guy's a moron. What have you developed in this arena for us, Adabear? Have you actually progressed the conversation in any way, shape, or form?
How to?
Is that a no?
I'm not allowed to discover anything to ask another question. You know, you just
Not about
talk over
asking
me and
questions.
talk.
I asked you
You
how
know,
you
and
progressed the conversation.
well, you know, I mean, I've got to try and progress it by finding out some information first.
Don't try, do
You
it.
said you had. You said you have it.
Some of us are
You
doers
have
and
it.
some
You
of us are
said.
triers, Adabear. You're a trier.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're
Well,
a
you know,
trier.
whatever I can do as well.
Yeah,
You know,
me,
there are
I'm a
some things I
can-doer.
can do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know. Well, I can do as well.
Very good.
Well, so in his mind, we're obligated to teach him, even though he puts words in our mouths we didn't say.
Yeah, he's entitled and a scumbag. Yes.
No, and he says he's trying to work it out. He's a lying sack of crap.
There you go.
Not
I don't know
trying to
how I'm
work
meant
it out.
to. I don't know how I'm meant to respond to that kind of stuff, Neil. That's the trouble. You create this
No, Adabear,
situation
when
where
people
people
are
can't
sincere,
speak.
Adabear, when people are sincere, take time with them and we explain it to them. Like John had sincere questions, and 10th Man, though frustrated, spent time laying it out. You're not sincere. You go on. When we
Well, what's
leave a
right then?
platform, you rip us to shreds. Don't interrupt me. You rip us to shreds, and then you come on the show the next day like you want to learn something. Well, learn this. We ain't buying it.
Neil, you called me out. You know, you called me out. I was just going to sit here and listen to see if I could learn something, but you called me out.
What? You're a lying piece of crap. Stop with
And
that.
so
You're not trying to
you've
learn.
now
You're looking to get a little
Yeah.
word that you could twist so you could go on
no.
another show and say, look what they said. Look what they said. They were mean to me. But you're the bully.
Don't know. He's
Neil,
scared.
thank you. Thank you, Neil, for confirming that I was right about
and
what
he's
John
attacking
said.
it because he
Thank
was
you.
scared.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming,
It's
Neil, what I
scared
said,
him.
what John said the other day. You confirmed that. Wonderful.
Right.
I wasn't lying
He's
then.
scared. It's okay.
Yeah,
I understand. I really do. I was in the same position. I was scared and I wanted to attack. But the thing is, I was friends with the person I was getting the information from. And I didn't try to straw man him and start arguments. I didn't shit talk him behind his back. There was a level of trust there that you don't have because of the way you behave. Well, there's a difference.
He's talking through you. He's talking through you. He don't want to hear.
Listen, when I first had the first conversation with Nathan, he created this situation. He created the way of speaking to me and trying to shut me down. Now, I didn't do that. I just came with some questions, and he
You're
shut me down
lying
like he does
again.
everybody else.
No. You
go
missed
listen to the
everything
recording.
John said. Did you come
Listen,
like
I
John
just
came
said.
to 10?
Can you stop
No, you
Neil,
did
can you
not.
stop interrupting him? I
Neil,
could hear the violin
I
playing.
said-
We were listening.
I said what John said, didn't I? I said what John said, and Nathan said I was lying. John even said I was lying. And you just repeated it, Neil, what I said. That the 10th man was exasperated with him. And Nathan said, yeah, I can understand that because now I'm having to do the same thing. That's all I said. And you confirmed that. Now Nathan said I was lying and being a bully. So
That's like you were putting words in people's mouths.
Not me.
Perpendicular,
Not me.
specifically. Perpendicular. Nobody said that except you. And when I
I
asked you to
asked
clarify, like now, you started interrupting like the bully that you are. I mean, I'm just clarifying what you actually said that I called you a liar over. Lying about things that people are inferred to have said. Yeah? And then causing a bit of audio chaos like you're doing now with your mic wide open. Disrespectful, generally. What John's trying to point out to you is there's a certain level of mutual respect that we have with 10th when we discuss
didn't
things
give it
with
to
him.
me in the first
And
place. You
things
set it
like a
up this
constant
way.
stream of interruptions from the person that's having this explained to them
Create
isn't
this, right?
conducive like my audience can hear. He's not listening anymore. He's switched off. What he's got to say is more important at this point. And you haven't built any mutual respect through this. Quite the opposite, in fact.
Yeah, well, you created that situation
Exactly.
like most
Hold
people
on.
Okay,
You
now you're going to
said,
blame me, right? No.
I
you
will
said
blame you.
Nathan didn't give it to you. You did not earn it. John was with us for over a year. You just come on the scene. And you want that mutual respect?
You think the way you speak to me, I should have respect for you. You can fuck off, Neil. You've never spoken to me with any respect.
He's a bully.
You haven't heard
He's a
any.
bully.
You haven't heard any.
Nathan, I feel very bullied, Nathan.
I'm not looking to earn any.
He's swearing on the show too.
Then don't
Why
demand
you
answers.
swearing?
All right, if you're not looking for any, then don't demand answers from us.
You
Certainly
treat
don't put words
no,
in our
I'm not
mouth
looking
about
for
things we
respect.
still
And
talking.
I'm not going to
Still
be.
talking.
I'm not going to
Still
give you
talking.
respect. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you're not. So just don't join in the conversation then.
Shouldn't have asked me to speak then.
Neil's entitled to inquire why you're bad-mouthing us.
Yeah, that's all I asked. Why you stood on the show bad-mouthing
Now
us?
we know. It's all right. We've sorted it out now. We know you're very hard done
Right.
by. And according to you, I've created that situation according to you. Okay, we understand.
Yeah.
Okay, the violins are
Yeah.
played. We've all heard your objections.
Yeah.
Your grievances have been
Thank you.
aired. Jolly good.
Good. Wonderful. Lovely.
So what this comes down to
So
is
can
you
you-
walked up to a stranger, you challenged him based on your own ignorance, and when you didn't like the response you were given, you challenged him even further, got called some names because you walked up to a stranger and started questioning him on statements of fact.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Hello. Good morning.
Yo, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you all. Nice and warmed up in the pre-show, as is always best to be when we start a few housekeeping questions. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
$93 million miles away, according to all textbooks in the schooling system.
Yeah, that's not the
To
case.
know
Lumpy.
a size, we must measure it hard measurement. We don't have a tape measure that can reach it, and it's intangible by nature. If we were to try to measure its actual size or actual distance, I imagine it'd get really warm as you approach it. I'm not sure about that, I guess, but actually it gets colder as you go up because of in line with Charles' law. But yeah, to know a size of a thing, you have to actually physically measure it. I like to use this analogy. If I were to look at a house on the horizon, it's going to look like a little toy thing, right? And if I had never seen a house or have a frame of reference as to what the actual sizes of the 2x4s are, or the 16-inch gap between the 2x4s, or any of these things, I had no clue to the reference, which is actually what is going on with lights in the sky. I wouldn't be able to build a house from what I'm looking at on the horizon. It would be just a little dot. All right, thanks.
Fair enough, but there are measurements involved to derive an inference of a 93 million mile sun, namely elevation angle measurements off a flat plane to Polaris. Now, with a circle of equal altitude that infers the equatorial outside edge of a sphere by using that radial value to suggest that the surface is spherical, in complete contradiction to the measurement you've just taken, then you can utilize something called Keplerian motion, or Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion, to be more specific. But you need something to scale those values with. And what they use is the same radial value derived from the equatorial minimum angle measurement to Polaris, and they transpose that radial value onto one of the lights that they can see transiting the sun. Now, if they've got the scale and they've got the size, then you can then take that to give you the size and distance of everything else by scale. But you need a starting point. So Venus is that starting point, and the radial value measured off a flat plane with Polaris is what's transcribed, or superimposed, I should say, onto Venus to give us those distances. So it all starts with a flat Earth measurement of Polaris.
No disagreement. I just want to point out how, again, we wouldn't have a frame of reference, and what you had explained tonight. We would have to assume, one, the size of the sun's diameter, and then also the size of Venus, so that you would be able to create the scaling. But again, if I was looking at a house and had never had a frame of reference, or my actual car and a toy car, my car, in black space, but had never seen a car, and I could move them back, further and closer, and make them appear to be about the same size in, darkness, but the things I can see are the cars. I wouldn't be able to determine what the actual car is or what the toy car would be.
Sure, and
because I wouldn't have a reference.
And we can't with Venus. By comparison, it's the toy car. We don't know how big Venus is, but we can just say Venus is arbitrarily an Earth radial value measured off a flat plane. Therefore,
also the
that's how big that toy car is. That Venus being the toy car.
Also, the transit, you'd have to assume the size of the sun in actual size, not distance, but the size of the sun, because you're having that transit. So it begins at the edge and it ends at the edge, right? But edge has to.
That's what Kepler gives you. So he's tracked all of the motions via the ephemeris, again measured off a flat plane. But those motions have scale already. You just don't have distance or size. So that's why you can ascribe any value. If you decided, for the sake of argument, to make Venus a mile rather than the radial value of a measured flat Earth, then you could scale it with that. Obviously, everything would get smaller and closer, but there's no reason why you can't do that. In other words, you can slide that scale in and out as far or as close as you choose with whatever values you plop into the maths to scale it with. In this case, Venus as Earth radial value gives you the 93 million mile distance when you've got something like the transit to give you the comparative scale that's already incorporated in Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion. So all you're lacking, that all Kepler fails to provide, and he can't, is that value. Now, the person who inserts it for our current value, because it's changed periodically, is Huygens. Huygens decides that Venus has got the same size as Earth. And then with Kepler and his motions and scales, you can give everything a value and a size. Literally everything.
So basically, it starts off assuming that we've got an Earth radius of 3959 miles.
Well, it's not though, is it? It's a minimum elevation angle to Polaris. So the point that the Polaris-centric system that we use for latitude reaches its inferred minimum, the radial value to extract for that particular circle of equal elevation would be 3959. It's got to be, because it's going to back calculate into all of those angle measurements off a flat plane with Polaris for any system that's subsequently wrapped on a ball and then rolled back out flat again. But they have to. It cannot be any other value.
So I just had a little thought. Maybe follow up with Kepler's law and say I would position this as Kepler's assumption. So, right, you could say Kepler's third law and then say, here's my stance on that claim. It would be Kepler's assumption. Does that make sense? Why would you do that?
It's not necessarily an assumption, because it is based on the movements that have been tracked. We've already had, long before we had that information, and Kepler's utilizing that information, which has been derived from flat Earth measurements. So in my mind, you can't not know that. But the solution isn't a solution for changing the shape of the ground you're standing on. The solution is being offered by Kepler in the form of a better methodology for knowing the cycles of the sky. That's what he's actually trying to achieve. So his entire system is sky-based. Now, the fact that you have to put the world as a sphere in an orbital motion in order to achieve those understandings that Kepler's put down in his motions doesn't change the fact that, in my mind, he can't not know that the information he's working with is with respect to a plane, and presumably Kepler, that is, doesn't care that the world has to be wrapped spherically to put it in motion in his models, if you will. I don't think he cares, because he's just trying to better predict the motions of the sky, rather than, like I say, actually make the ground you're standing on spherical. I don't think that's his objective. I don't know if anyone's going to disagree with me from a panel, but I can't, being a flat earther and knowing what I know now, reconcile the idea that he doesn't know it's flat when he's using flat information. I can't reconcile that. So the only way I can reconcile, well, how does he end up with a world that's spherical? Well, so he can better understand motions of the sky, and he doesn't really care of the absurdity of the ground that he wraps around a ball in order to achieve it. That's kind of inconsequential to just can I track the motion of the stars better or not? Can I describe them better or not? If the answer is yes, he's done a good job in his mind. The fact that it's been turned into a world that's actually spherical thereafter is kind of, I think he'd probably turn in his grave. But that's, I have no idea. I can't divine the motivation of dead men, but that in my mind is the only way I can reconcile it. Can anybody add anything to that from my panel?
Kepler corruption.
Kepler's corruption, I like that a lot more. How'd you like that, Lumpy? Was it Lumpy or was it one day?
The point where I'm bringing up an assumption would be, let's say we just assume the actual size of the sun, say, is half the diameter of the ball Earth, right? Right. And then Venus would be a tenth. Well, that would change the transit time or the relationship when you equate for the.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
No, it would only make the Earth not a globe, according to them. The sun has to be that big and that far away, far away because it's claimed to be that big, because they need almost parallel light rays to explain the shadows we see in reality.
But that's after Kepler, isn't it? These are anti-flat Earth apologetics for a system that isn't necessarily designed to make the world spherical beneath your feet.
Well, that's based off of Eratosthenes, which they claim is before Kepler.
Yeah.
But it's still, you have to give a special pleading fallacy to try to make a logical. It's never going to work.
But I want you to answer, Brian, specifically is, how can they have not known what the ephemeris offered and what was being tracked in regards to the motions of the stars and the angles thereof? How could they not know that they're dealing with a flat ground in the first instance? To me, it seems absurd that they wouldn't know.
He might have. The assumption part is the transit time and the sizes. I would assume that if, say, I'm on a racetrack, if the size of the racetrack would, if I were to make it much larger than my vehicle, if I were to say it does that circuit,
no, it's because you're not scaling everything. Then stop. You're just not scaling everything.
Okay.
So if you're going to say, right, I've got a racetrack example and it's got full-size Ferraris floating around on it and it's 3 miles long. Well, if you're going to scale it, you scale everything. You scale the cars, you scale the track, you scale your vision, you scale it all right back down again. And it would still, from your perception, if you change the focal length, perceive to be the same exact racetrack because everything's scaled. So, like I say, to explain Kepler's third law in terms of how nothing's going to change if you make everything absolutely ginormous, which they have, or tiny and close. The circuits don't change, the paths don't change, the patterns don't change. Nothing changes, just the numbers that you attach to it. So you say that it's much, much, much further away, or therefore travelling much, much, much faster. Yeah, but it all scales together.
Well, the original question would be...
Let's just let Brian add something to that. Go ahead, Brian.
The whole point of Kepler's scaling values was so they could claim that the sun, they could claim with supposed evidence, which is not evidence, just fooling the public, that they have measured the sun to be as big and far away as they need it to be. That's the whole point of it. The whole point of it is to make up for what Eratosthenes did. For what they have to claim, it all comes back to reality, right? What they need to do is be able to make a claim concerning the shadows we see in reality. And the only way they can do that is with us, right, within their paradigm. It's not the only way they can do it, but it's the only way they say they can do it. As what Kepler's supposed proof for a globe was that if the sun was really big, it was this big and this far away, although he didn't say 93 million miles at the time. His point being is that they need almost parallel light rays to create the shadows that we see in reality on a globe of 3959 radius, right? So all Kepler did was add to that. That's all it was. It's like, well, here is the scaling values, and when we use Kepler scaling values and we talk a lot of jargon and nonsense, we can fool the public into thinking we have actually measured the sun to be as big and as far away as we need it to be, to then extrapolate out that we are on a globe and that all the rest of these stars all the rest of these lights are stars also, and they're monstrously bigger than the sun. And They're all light years away, blah, 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 blah. It all starts with the shadows. They have to explain the shadows. And all Kepler did was add to the supposedly already existing Eratosthenes claim. That's all he did. And what did Eratosthenes do? He measured an elevation angle. So that's no good to him. He needed to go to something else, which was the shadows. How do I explain these shadows on a globe? Well, if that light in the sky is really big and far away, then I can claim that the light is almost parallel from it, and that will explain the shadows. But the moon destroys all that anyway. But that's besides the point. Kepler is only support for Eratosthenes. That's all it is. More fraudulent support.
So the original claim is that it's 93 million miles, and I thought that was associated with Kepler's, way of determining.
It isn't. No, it isn't. No, it is because he's giving you the scaling, but he's not giving you the value. That's been inserted into Kepler. So it's not like Kepler gave you that value. Yeah, Huygens gave you that value by inserting it into Kepler's scale. Make sense? So he is and he isn't.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Okay. Thank you for the help.
They have a load of messed up timelines, right? They claim it always starts with Eratosthenes. That's what, because that has to be their starting point if you go by their claims. If they're claiming that Eratosthenes measured the radius of a globe via the pre-assumption that the sun was X big, which would make it X far away based off its angular size, that actually starts with Eratosthenes. He was the first. If that story was the true story, or that's what they claim, then Eratosthenes was the original one to give a scale, not Kepler. All Kepler did, right? This thing is all screwed up, right? Because this is the point. They can't have a geocentric globe. There was no such thing as heliocentrism until Copernicus and Kepler, right? Kepler gave him heliocentrism with his analemma. That's what he did, right? And all he did is back engineer the original sun cycle that was already known for thousands of years. All he did is back engineer that into the Copernican model, right? They gave them their 23.4 degree tilt and their 3 million miles further and 3 million miles closer to their sun over their 12-month period, blah, blah, blah. But the whole point of that was to give them heliocentrism. But they're claiming via Eratosthenes that the scaling was already there, because that's where it started, supposedly 2,000 years ago with Eratosthenes, when he explained that the shadows, if the sun is X big and that would make it X far away, then that would mean that the shadows that we see in reality can be explained on the surface of a globe Earth. It all comes back to shadows. They need that power within their claim. It all comes back to the shadows, but the heliocentrism part, it starts and ends with Kepler.
Right.
They can't.
That's the real.
They can't.
There's two timelines. Let me just drop this in.
Globe.
I just want to drop this in, Brian.
You're killing the crescendo.
Well, I want to, because I want people to distinguish the fact that there's a narrative inserted in, which is the one you've just discussed, which is claimed to be several thousand years old. But that's not trackable through history. The guy, as far as I'm concerned, might as well have been invented. But that's the narrative they need to drop in to make it seem like it's always been that way. Now you can have your crescendo, because now's the real story when it comes to Kepler. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, all our stories of thousands of years beforehand, none of that heliocentrism started until Kepler, because there can't be a geocentric globe based off of their own claims. According to them, the sun needs to be as big as it is and as far away as it is to give them the light they need to explain the shadows, right? So how does that? That's just one thing, just that one thing. They have to then, right, make a claim that there's this big massive sun that's geocentrically orbiting the globe. If we're talking about a geocentric globe Earth, not heliocentric. And then how do they explain all the other claimed planets and all the other movements within the sky geocentrically? Because then that changes all those other things, those stars and all that. They have to be monstrous as well, way more monstrous than the sun, because it all starts and ends with the shadows. So if they can't, they need to explain the shadows we see in reality first. And that means to extrapolate out monstrous sizes to the stars, and the sun being their claimed closest star.
Yeah.
So,
off a
so
Brahe
how does that
objection.
work geocentrically?
Well, I was just going to say that part of the story comes from Brahe, doesn't it? Because he objected.
Yeah, but no, not yes and no, because the problem is that yes and no, because the point is that how do they have a geocentric globe? They can't. Their whole paradigm can't be geocentric. It can only be heliocentric. So there's no such thing as Brahe believing that there was on a globe and things were geocentric. That wouldn't have been possible. It doesn't work geocentrically. It only works heliocentrically.
No.
It's
my
like
reference was to Brahe.
Edwin Hubble said.
Hold on. My reference is to Brahe objecting to the sizes based on the
I know,
Keplerian
being
scaling.
sarcastic, yeah.
So he's saying they'd have to be enormous.
I understand that. Yeah, but I understand why he would say that. Because if you're going for that whole thing to be correct, then you'd have to have enormous sizes to these lights in the sky. Yeah, whereas in geocentrism, they don't need to be enormous. They can be small and local. They don't need to be enormous and far away.
Right.
But how the globe doesn't work without being heliocentric. Show me the geocentric globe, what they would call model. Show it to me. It's impossible.
Edwin Hubble said it. Hubble said it himself.
Is there chocolate?
He said
chocolate. Hold on, I want to chocolate about. He's feeding back on me, but go ahead, chocolate.
Remember, Brian, that Hubble said it himself, man. That we must avoid a favored location, in quotes, by all costs. Right?
Yes.
We can't.
The horror of a favor.
We could see that. That's what we observed, but we must avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, that's exactly, because that tears apart the whole paradigm. The whole paradigm falls down. Because they need it to be heliocentric. They can't have a globe Earth without heliocentrism. You can't have a geocentric system and have a globe Earth. You can only have a flat plane. So this thing about the globe is thousands and thousands of years old, no, it's not. That's a load of rubbish. It started in the 1700s with Kepler, 16 into the 1700s with Kepler. That's where it started.
Yep.
Well, there's the thing. You can't have like the idea that the heliocentric system works. Have we seen this heliocentric model to evaluate whether it works or not?
I have seen 3D renderings of what could be described as a very basic heliocentric model.
Well, they would be wrong then, because they wouldn't apply to Mercury within their own statements. So no, you haven't.
No, it was not without flaws. That was why it was being shown to me. Well, it was actually being shown to me to show how a moon that I said was impossible was possible, actually. But that's a side point. Anyway,
right, so
yes,
we don't have a working model.
No,
even if we allow them their special pleading is so biggie it's flatty.
But even then, that
we
doesn't
don't
make
have
that
a working model.
Yeah, it still doesn't make a working model. You're right. Okay, got a video to cover. So I actually did see a bit of this previously from Russian vids, or They Live. So you can see his critique of this as well. But obviously it was mostly his interjections into the original videographer. So I've not seen this video, if you will. It'll be fresh to us. So I'm just going to do a quick sound check and then I'll do the call to action. Let's just have a quick listen.
Want to easily and irrefutably debunk the flat earth theory simply by using this picture that I took from my own iPhone?
Like a sunset to me, my friend. Yeah, it's all sounding good. Okay, so this videographer is Justin Peters, Ministries, I think it says. So go and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Please leave him a nice comment, the idea being that were he to respond to our critiques of his video, he would do the same for us and put a link to our video. So, without further... Go on.
So we're going to start right off the rip with an affirming the consequent. Sunsets exist, and if sunsets exist, therefore globe. I have a picture of a sunset, therefore globe. Yeah, that's how we're going to start this, it sounds.
Yeah, you've picked up on the affirming the consequent that will inevitably follow.
I'm going to show you how to do it.
What's Romans 11:36?
Welcome to the program.
Anybody? Romans 11:36. Anybody? Call yourself Christians.
Program, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin Peters. I hope that this finds you and your family doing well today. I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure, honestly. You know, we're enjoying ourselves. Hopefully, we've got an audience enjoying ourselves. It's made me feel all special and warm and welcome.
Yes, the flat earth theory is a thing. It has.
You see, you're in a category error already there, my friend, because theories come after scientific validation in science. Now, when you say theory, it would imply one of two things: scientific validity or colloquial ideas, and we're not dealing with either. It's not a scientific category because we're not dealing with cause and effect. However, Earth is measured flat. That's not some colloquial theory that we have about the idea of Earth being flat. It's measured that way.
Has a surprisingly large following.
Who cares? Wouldn't matter if it was just me saying it.
And many flat earthers are Christians, and I believe that they are, many of them, not all of them, but many.
Here comes a stereotyping fallacy.
Of them are well-intentioned.
How do you know? I don't know. We know plenty of ill-intentioned flat earthers who are Christians, I assure you.
Christians who erroneously believe that the Bible teaches the earth is flat.
This is where Russian Vids did a very good job stepping in, giving ample biblical references to a flat and stationary earth, immovable. Anybody want to add any? If you're a Christian, this is your moment.
God is above. A sphere would only have in and out. The earth is God's footstool. That would give it a footstool type aspect, which would be, we know what a footstool is. It's never, well, maybe them exercise balls, but anyway.
Set the world on pillars. Set the world on pillars, immovable.
Yep. Immovable. That one's really big. Yep.
Any more? Neil?
The breadth of the waters is straightened. Job 37:10.
One more time?
I'll read it. It's Job chapter 37, verse 10. One sec. By the breath of God, frost is given, and the breadth of the waters is straightened.
That's a new one on me. I like that.
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
I like that. Is it bushel? I love it.
Yeah.
That's new to me. I heard that one before.
It does not. But
it does by our estimation. I mean, we just gave you several references. Check them out.
For some Christians who hold to the flat earth theory, they are bringing...
Not a theory. It's measured flat.
Unnecessary ridicule upon Christianity in general. And
I don't know if I can speak to this. I was hoping for more interjection from the panel.
Well, how are they bringing ridicule? That seems to be a baseless. The problem is he has a fear of the earth being what it really is, and that's the problem. And he's claiming that flat earthers who are Christians are bringing unnecessary ridicule upon Christians. Sure, aren't you able to handle it? What's the problem?
Well, isn't he at the helm in this particular respect? How can you get away with saying a statement like that when you're the one now stepping into the arena of ridiculing how wrong somebody you believe to be in a, what did he call it, theory? You know, a belief structure? Okay, well, you're obviously poorly researched and ill-informed, ignorant, shall we say, but yet you're levelling that at the door of the person that declares that which they presumably up until 2024 were giving with their versions of a belief that destroys a globe narrative. Nevertheless, it seems unreasonable to level that at someone's door when you're the one doing it. In this instance, he's doing that. He's now going to lay into ridiculing, I would assume, the Christians at the very least, as being detrimental to his faith in Christianity, because it's bringing negativity to his religion, according to him. Well, that's isn't that projection? Am I missing something?
He said those Christians would be wrong. What was the word he used? Erroneously describing the Bible as a flat Earth book. In the Bible, just a question: in the Bible, did someone say before that the Earth is described as immovable?
Yeah.
Huh. So does that describe the globe Earth? Is the globe Earth immovable, or is it moving in how many vectors currently that we're supposed to believe in? How many vectors is this thing supposed to be moving in? At how many speeds?
A lot.
It's a burden of proof reversal. That's what it is.
Burden of proof
Because-
reversal. Yeah, break this down
Yeah,
for me,
big-
Brian. This sounds a lot more akin to what he's actually doing.
Well, there's plenty of references in the Bible to the Earth not being a globe. I mean, I'm not saying it. The point is that there's still many references in the Bible that would place the Earth as a stationary plane, right? Where is it? Where is there any evidence within the Bible that he is promoting where it states or promotes the Earth being a rotating globe in heliocentric space? There's absolutely nothing there. So him saying there's no references in the Bible for a stationary plane is completely false. You can definitely extrapolate that from it. But the point being is that where is his evidence for his positive claim? I mean, he's just lying when he says there isn't references that would support a stationary plane, and he's adding and proving and showing nothing for his claim, which is a positive claim. So it's a burden of proof reversal.
Gotcha. The default position would be the horizontal plane of reference that has always been measured and referenced in all respects. Therefore, that's the default position because it's a non-positive claim. Whereas to make the extraordinary claim that Earth is sphere-shaped and then use the Bible in any way, shape or form, you're going to have to back that up with citations that overtly state that Earth is a rotating spherical shape as extrapolated out by the likes of Copernicus and Kepler and Huygens. So,
well, yeah, I mean, where is his evidence? The point being is that this is not just him, but it's going on within Christianity, where they're trying to lump it all on flat earthers to supposedly support without what's in the Bible supports that it's supports a stationary plane, when there's nothing in it that doesn't support that. That's the point. It's all up to him because he's supposed to be a Christian and maybe a pastor or whatever he is. Right? He's supposed to be able to support his positive claim, and he can't. There's nothing in there to support his claim. So he's looking. So it's like explain the horizon, flat earther. It's that kind of a thing. It's like it's not up to us to explain it. We're not making positive claims about it. As in, if you know what I mean, even that's not even a good analogy because the point is that we actually can show, like within the Bible, lots of references that will support a stationary plane. He can show nothing that will support his paradigm. So it's a point back at you all the time. He keeps throwing the ball back to you when it's up to him to hold on to the ball.
Well, maybe he'll start reading off the direct quotes out of the Bible that will prove you wrong, right?
Let's listen.
Maybe we just have to wait.
Yeah.
In the Bible specifically, and I want to show you how to debunk the flat earth theory just by this photograph that I took from my iPhone. Now, I have been called a false teacher for a number of different reasons.
Why would that make you smirk? What an outrage.
But one of which people have called me a false teacher because I believe that the earth is round. And as you might suspect from the globes I have on my bookshelf back there, these are MOVA globes, by the way, M-O-V-A. People have asked, I've seen comments from folks asking me what those things are. They're MOVA globes, and they operate by light. They've got magnets inside them, and light gets them to spinning. Now, my earth there is not spinning like it should because it doesn't have enough direct sunlight on it, but at any rate, that's what those are.
Fascinating.
So yes, I do believe that the Earth and all the other planets in our sun are spheres. Now the Earth...
Well, that's fascinating, but you've started out by telling us what you believe, And when your beliefs are based on measurements that have been taken off a flat Earth with specific reference to Polaris, you haven't really got a leg to stand on for your belief anymore, because your belief's based on flat Earth measurements. We don't have any beliefs in Earth being measured flat. That's a fact that we can demonstrate. But you're launching straight into how you believe, what the teachings of the heresy that the church gave us in the form of this notion that the sphere Earth is something we could actually stand on, when the men of the church have used it to derive better predictions for things like Easter. That doesn't make the world spherical. It's an absurd notion that you must believe in. Why would you choose to exercise this belief over simply the belief that you've been saved by Jesus Christ himself? I don't know, but there we go. People choose to believe all sorts of nonsense.
Earth is not
Well, it's a common thing. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
It's a common thing amongst globers, right? Where they'll claim that they've yet to be shown any flat Earth proof when they're constantly showing it daily. It's a total monstrous hand wave of factual proof that's been handed to them over and over daily, right? That the Earth is not what they believe it is, and it is what we say it is, right? And that's all he's doing here. He's saying there's no evidence in the Bible to support that. When there's no end of passages to support it, he's just hand waving away what's actually in the Bible to insert or reassert some globe claim that he has. Do you know what I mean?
That's correct.
That's all
There's
he's
nothing
doing.
in the Bible spherical. Nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Exactly. So him saying there's nothing in there is the same as Baller saying there's no flat Earth proofs, which is complete rubbish. There's no end of it. Everything is a proof. Do you know what I mean? But he seems to think it's okay to just hand away all the passages in the Bible that would support a stationary plane, and yet produce nothing. Like what he just did there, talking about these globes he has. That was like a pure time savior, if you know what I mean. He's stretching out the amount of time between when he should be given these supposed passages that prove his point, and actually doing it. He hasn't done that. Instead of doing that, he's wanted to talk about these toy globes he has.
You can call it what it is.
Tell you?
It's fluff.
Yeah, fluff. Yeah.
A perfect sphere. It's an oblate spheroid because the Earth at the equator, the circumference of the equator is a
Wow, way to affirm the consequent. Chocolate called it first. So, well, Earth's an oblate spheroid. Why? Because I can describe an oblate spheroid, therefore Earth is one of them.
little bit greater than the circumference of the Earth going this way, pole to pole. Now,
pole to pole? The poles themselves are with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. Same goes for axes and axial rotation. Both are respect to horizontal planes of reference. In this case, your pole, Polaris, specifically is the starting point for all the mapping systems that developed into spheres to then be rolled back out flat for maps to be useful again. But the actual system used to measure an Earth that we don't have a theory about, it's just how the Earth has actually been measured, so we can navigate it. And that would be minimum elevation angle measurement for Polaris to give you a radial value that you will superimpose into this system. Well, that doesn't make the ground you're standing on anything other than the flat plane that was used to measure to derive these mathematics to give you your belief, which is all it is, a belief based on measurements of a flat Earth.
That's because of the gravitational
Plus, on
pull.
a slightly different note, that people don't really, these guys who have this belief don't really like to point out to themselves. The people that show them this picture of what's supposed to be an oblate spheroid show them a picture of a completely spherical sphere. So when does that become an oblate spheroid? And how can you have that belief and then look at that picture and say, well, yeah, that's an oblate spheroid? Because they've never shown you that.
Well, because they can't. I mean, it's a fantasy idea in a mathematical derivation of a flat Earth that's been utilizing the stars since dot in terms of our navigation and measuring systems. Everything's with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. The altitudes and elevations of the lands themselves are all referenced to a 0 point that gives you an extended flat Earth for everything. Navigation, mapping, building, you name it, it's all done flat. So Again,
Yeah, but when
why we're in
yeah, but
2024
when that came,
talking about these believers and their beliefs. Go ahead, Neil.
when that came out that it was an oblate spheroid, why didn't anybody say, but wait a second, what about the picture they've been showing us from the moon? That doesn't look like an oblate spheroid to me. There was no contention.
It's not going to be something that they're going to describe as being visually perceivable in the first instance, Neil. But once they've got you into begging the question that you can travel to a rock in the sky we call the moon to turn around and picture an Earth from a sky vacuum that violates the second law of thermodynamics, with the blue marble and the clouds stuck to it, not dispersing into that sky vacuum. The fact that you're even in that paradigm asking about why did no one notice that it wasn't oblate, well, that leads them to say, oh, well, by oblate, we would mean that if by scale it was the same as a bowling ball, as you ran your hands over it, it would be perfectly spherical. I mean, you wouldn't even notice. We're talking a few miles out of 1,000. Go on.
Some more mitigation then.
Yeah, but mitigation that works within the paradigm that you can actually turn your head from the moon's surface as a rock in a sky vacuum, having traversed a sky vacuum, gone through the yummy gas at high pressure that we're all breathing, into an area of volume that the gas isn't dispersing into in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. That's gas behaviour, not being described within the story. And then once you accept all of those nonsensical notions of a Earth that's measured flat to give you the idea of a spherical orbital motion-based system that you could travel through a second law of thermodynamics violation to get this picture, and then question why it's not perfectly spherical, or in this case, would be perceived to be perfectly spherical at the scale that you saw the Earth from the moon in the pictures that obviously aren't fake, because they haven't just come from a Narnia region that can't possibly exist, called a sky vacuum.
Their claims of an oblate spheroid come from pre-assumption. It's nothing to do with geometric anything. It comes from the pre-assumption that it's rotating. So they're saying, well, because we are rotating, because we pre-assume it's rotating, then that means that the equator must be expanding. And they just give a scale to that over a course of time. You understand? So it's not a geometric claim. There are people who think that that it's a geometric claim obviously don't understand the latitude and longitude grid, because that would mean, what they're claiming would mean that grid could never work even mathematically on the surface of their globe, because it would mean that it'd be like a jumper that's too small, where it doesn't meet your waist. So it would be like the latitude and longitude grid would never make it to 90 degrees south on their sphere, simply because the center would be wider. You understand what I mean? Whereas that requires it to be a sphere, not an oblate spheroid.
Sure.
So they don't know what they're talking about.
But the starting point for that maths extrapolation is what, Brian?
Flat Earth elevation angles, flat Earth.
Precisely.
On the Earth from the sun. A little interesting fact, by the way, I learned this 12 or so years ago. I was preaching in Ecuador. Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador is the tallest mountain on...
You're going to need a flat Earth to declare this height. The height of this mountain is with respect to a 0 point that is the same everywhere on Earth. So your height that you're going to now quote of this mountain is with respect to a flat Earth. Why is it with these people? Why do they have to constantly go about utilising flat Earth measurements of heights of mountains? When will they learn? You're proving a flat Earth with this height, my friend.
On Earth, if you measure from the exact center of the Earth.
Oh, and how are you going to do that, Mr. Minister? Are you going to drill to hell to get an angle from the centre of a sphere Earth that's been reified into existence by way of angle measurements to the stars? Because that seems like blasphemy to me. Who's measuring from the centre of hell? Nobody.
Yeah, that's when you hit the center of the Earth button on the sextant.
Another Danny Faulkner, huh?
Yeah, who's measuring from hell, my friend?
It's not Mount Everest, it's Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. It's actually about almost 7,000 feet further from the center of the Earth to the...
Like, measurements offer sea level for the heights of mountains, my friend. Nobody gives heights from the centre of Earth because nobody's measuring from the centre of Earth. Where have you got this little tidbit jargon from? Did you wiki search this? Actually, no. If you take Earth to be a sphere with a radial value taken from angle measurements off a flat plane to Polaris, then you can infer that this mountain's actually higher on a non-perfectly spherical surface that we're not measuring from the centre of. Meanwhile, you're a minister talking about taking angle measurements from hell.
The top of Mount Chimborazo than it is from the center of the Earth to the top of Mount Everest because of that bulge around our middle, the Earth's middle. So
I have no bulge. The measurements are actually taken from a plane.
Interesting little.
It's an interesting point, that,
tidbit.
Nathan. So he's claiming then that Mount Everest is not as high as this other mountain.
Yep.
So he's now.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, to support his bullshit balls theory, because of this oblateness and its profoundness, it now means that this mountain is higher than Everest, which has never been said before, but it has to be. And it would still be height, wouldn't it? It would still be a higher, whether you count it as height above sea level plus R, still got that R in it, hasn't it? So it's still actually higher. Dodgy, that's a dodgy claim.
He's actually detailing, without realizing it, why they can't claim elevations from the center of an oblate spheroid. Do you know what I mean? This is why they must claim it to be a total sphere, or to even claim a distance from the center, because the oblate spheroid will change the distance at every point. You know, the whole thing is this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't even know his own paradigm. That's his problem.
100 people watching. Woohoo! Very warm welcome to you all. Please share the show if you've not done so already. Also, as we are responding to somebody else's video, Justin Peters in this particular instance, please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. So I'm going to put another link to this videographer's video in the live stream chat so you can drop him a line and just let him know that we have actually responded to his video. Oh, seem to have lost my connection. Am I still connected to you guys?
I hear you.
Yeah, you're still here. You're still here.
I think I dropped connection for about 2 or 3 seconds there. I don't know if something's wrong with my internet. Nevertheless, please let this videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The idea being that should he respond, given that I don't know if he's actually got a bigger audience than us or not. How big is his audience? Yeah, it's definitely bigger than us. Yeah, if he were to respond, he would put a link to our video and hopefully respond to some of the critiques that we left off the back of some of my audience giving him the YouTube love that we so sorely desire but do not receive from YouTube. So hopefully if he were to respond to us, he'd put a link to our video in the same way I am putting a link to his in the live stream chat right now. So if you are one of the 100 people currently watching live, then please let this videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And as I say, hopefully he'll put a response package together. He's already got 2 people to deal with, me and Russian Vids. Crack on.
Bit there. So next time, if you're on Jeopardy and that comes up, that's the answer. So anyway, so the flat Earth theory is a thing, unfortunately. Now, basically,
What did you just say? Could you rewind like maybe 10, 20, 15 seconds or something?
tidbit there. So next time, if you're on Jeopardy and that comes up, that's the answer. So anyway, so the flat Earth theory is a.
Did you need the question?
No, that's what I wanted. That's what I want to hear.
I keep saying it's not a theory. And why is it unfortunate? I don't really understand. That sounds like a fear-based projection to me.
That's what I heard. Unfortunate. What's unfortunate about reality, my friend?
I mean, the sad
Chocolate,
reality. Go on, Lumpy.
He was getting at claiming that this mountain by the equator was higher, but than Everest. So you would answer that question in Jeopardy as that mountain, not Everest. However, elevation changes are not. Huey went over this recently, that the elevation changes are based on sea level, not from the center of the Earth.
Right, sea level. That's how everything's measured with respect to a 0 point, the average of the seas across the plane. So when you say how high something is, it's with respect to that 0 point, which is the same everywhere.
A thing, unfortunately. Now, basically, this is what the flat Earth model looks like. So we
No, it isn't. That's an azimuthal equidistant projection on its side with a circle above it. Now, I don't buy this. This isn't my model. I haven't said this is what the Earth is. Far from it. Now, I can describe how these systems and lines that are on this particular North Pole-centric azimuthal equidistant projection are, and I can also tell you how the azimuthal equidistant projection came to pass with respect to projections from a sphere Earth that have been taken with respect to measurements of Polaris to give you the latitude grid that are on it. Well, that's how the progression of this particular disk that you're showing comes to pass. But that's not me. That's not a flat Earth. That's not something I would suggest is our model. How dare you? Why are you straw-manning us? Give me something to sink my teeth into, Christians. There's got to be something he's doing that's not Christian here by straw-manning me with this garbage. I'm a flat earther. I haven't said this is the world. You're saying this is the world.
We are living, according to the flat earthers, we are living on a...
I'm a flat earther. Don't lie about what I say. How dare you? See, now it's going to get obnoxious, isn't it? If I start levelling what Christians do and then come up with something that's completely disingenuous and not true about something you haven't done, would you feel like it was objectionable? Yeah? If I stereotype you with all Christians and then describe something that the Christians have done over their history that's absolutely abhorrent and tar you with the brush, would you be happy? I doubt it. Don't do it to me. This is an absolute outrage. Yeah, I am a flat earther, so don't tell people what I say or tell them the world is with this. This is not my model. I haven't claimed it, so don't foist it upon me with your stereotyping fallacy, along with a string of other fallacies that you've used so far.
A giant manhole cover. And the center of the Earth is the North Pole, and Antarctica is the main...
You're just describing, is to say what you see, my friend, because all you're describing is what you see in the form of an azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric projection of a sphere taken from the latitude system that was measured on a flat Earth. That's what you're describing. Well, say what you see doesn't make you intelligent, but it certainly isn't my world that I've told you is a flat Earth model or representation. Yeah, you're just stereotyping us. It's a disgrace, really.
Makes the perimeter of the Earth. And you might be wondering, well, can't people go to the edge of it? Well,
what, based on your straw man that we don't claim, you're going to start asking questions that people haven't asked? What, can't we go to your edge of your reified azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric projection? Why would you ask such a stupid, nonsensical question? We're certainly not asking that. But you are, aren't you? So is this something you've concerned yourself with? Because we aren't. Your stereotyping fallacies failed, so where does that leave us? It leaves this with it being your numpty thoughts on the matter. So, like when Eddebear found it objectionable that the straw man he tried to put in our mouths didn't work, it becomes your claim. Because I'm not claiming this. And I'm a flat earther. I've got an absolute right to tell you what I'm not claiming. This isn't it. So therefore it's yours, my friend. These are the ramblings and your concerns that you now have, given that you've stumbled across this subject you're very ignorant to. Yeah, but we're not going to be taking this as somehow our burden and our responsibility and our concern that you ask about. Who said there was an edge?
Don't keep shouting at me. Don't keep shouting at me, Oakley. I'm not a video on the internet for you to shout at. Come on, calm down.
I didn't say you were. I compared what happened to us earlier when you described perpendicular latitude and longitude grids that nobody claimed, as is putting words in our mouth. When I pointed out that nobody said it, and that you had, you got all het up and objectionable to the fact that I'd pointed out that they were your words and ultimately your claim because no one else other than you had stated it. Like this guy. I'm not stating the world's a pancake or a manhole cover with an edge that we could fall off. He is. Like you were.
Flat earthers say, no, nobody can go to the edge of the Earth because the military is down there, and if you...
Did I say that? Anybody else here say that? Hands up who said that. A whole room full of flat earthers here, mate. We're going to do a quick straw poll, see if you're a liar or not. Who has said that here?
Not
1,
me.
2, 3, 4. Me included, 5 flat earthers on the G+ panel. Whole bunch of people in Discord who are all self-proclaimed flat earthers. Nobody's claiming this straw man, my friend. It seems like you're not very Christian. You're just a disingenuous straw man using liar. How dare you?
I'm just asking if latitude or longitude were perpendicular. That was all.
Why would you ask that? Would you why would you suspect they were?
I thought you might.
Why would you suspect they were?
I'm asking you.
Why would you suspect? Why would you're not going to let me respond? It's just your constant ramblings. Now you've got your words out. You think that that's it. That's the end of the positioning. Why would you think they were to ask?
Because you described it as a grid, so I was looking for clarification.
I gave you the same clarification I gave earlier when I described the actual process of latitude measurement, transposed onto a globe, then transposed onto a cylinder, then rolled out flat for the grid used in the transverse Mercator. This is now the second time I have told you that. So I ask again. So I ask again, given that I've already answered that question twice, why you would ponder the likelihood of the perpendicular latitude and longitude. Why would you ponder that? That seems like an insane ponderance. Why would you ponder that?
Because the cardinal directions are perpendicular. But you seem to think that if you go east or west, you go in a circle.
Right, cardinal directions as in the square grid on the transverse Mercator?
North, south, east, west. They're perpendicular.
Is that a yes?
Aren't they? Yeah.
So they're perpendicular on the transverse Mercator?
But somehow you go round in a circle.
So why are you telling me what I'm doing? I am going around in a circle. Now you're telling me what I'm doing. I've clarified your position is that they're a grid, square in nature, and are perpendicular, specifically on the transverse Mercator then.
In the paradigm that you're...
Why are you stuttering about what my paradigm is? Don't put words in my mouth. Just say yes. It coincidentally is the exact same explanation as to why I have given you as the grid that you strawman me with when you asked about this perpendicular notion that you hold based on your misapprehensions about how the transverse Mercator came to pass, in spite of me telling you twice how it came to pass. Yeah. Well, it seems like you lack comprehension ability there, Edabert, because I've explained it to you twice. But yet you're still asking the same question. And yet here you are rumpusing me, like it's embarrassing or something. I know. You lack comprehension skills. You've struggled to understand how the transverse Mercator is utilised and comes to fruition, in spite of me telling you twice. But yet you still feel the need to reiterate your misapprehensions and rambling notions about perpendicular when it comes to the latitude and longitude grid. Yeah, we know. You lack comprehension. You don't understand how it works in spite of having it explained to you in regards to the transverse Mercator twice. You still feel the need to rumpus me. You still think that, by you chattering through me, I haven't got the line closed, so you can't do that anymore? No, you can't do that. I'm still in the same sentence, so your ramblings are just disturbing discord. My audience, on the other hand, gets to hear the concise explanation without a wanker rambling through the middle of me, because I've just closed your line as I started to explain this to you for the third time. Now, obviously, you're not going to be listening. I can see your light flashing, and so can the audience, telling them that you're not listening to me anymore. You've decided that you're going to hijack the explanation that you've had given to you 3 times.
Yeah,
very reasonable.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, it's my show. Yeah, I'm explaining something that you didn't comprehend.
He's only here to derail the show. That's all he wants to do is derail the show.
Yes, that's correct. Edabert wants to derail the show. He's a hater. He's got no actual input to offer, but hate. Yeah, spewing his hate and his lies and his disingenuous notions that we haven't actually said, with ramblings about transverse Mercators and how he thinks that makes the world have parallel latitude and longitude lines. I mean, it's an idiot notion that they'd be perpendicular to one another, a notion that he came up with. I mean, when I pointed out that it's his notion and the ramblings of an idiot, he does this. He talks through me. They are the rambling notions of an idiot, the one who proposed it. We didn't propose it, you did. That makes you an idiot, Edabert.
Flat earther. Can you describe how that is then? How are the latitude and longitude delineated on the flat earth, like you said?
Like how they're delineated. They're not. They're a concept measured from angles to Polaris with areas of equal elevation. That's the second time I've told you that as well.
So they're polar sense.
Maybe if you could just stop stuttering. Write down your sentence before you ramble through my show. You're irritating, not popular. You're not going to make my audience like you. The 100 or so people don't want to listen to you stuttering and stammering around the words you can't get out of your mouth. Now sit down, Edabert. Yeah, we've dealt with you. We've compared you and juxtaposed you to the person we're reacting to. Somebody who has concern, does have our interest and our ear. You, on the other hand, want to put words in our mouth about perpendicular longitude and latitude lines that you've misapprehended based on the transverse Mercator. Now you can't seem to string a sentence together without stammering and stuttering. So sit down, get a hold of yourself, man.
Standing up.
To those ice
Standing
walls
up,
in the
actually.
military will shoot you, and so nobody's actually traversed Antarctica.
How do you know?
Explain though, did you?
How do you know? Sorry, this isn't your show.
Oh, I thought you would stop talking.
On
You
my
hadn't
show,
explained
no,
how
that will happen
latitude
quite a
and-
lot, Ed Bear. It's my show. I'm now responding to a video after juxtaposing your idiocy and lies that you tried to put into our mouth with this man's idiocy and lies that he's tried to put into us by stereotyping fallacy. That's what's actually happening. It doesn't call for any reaction from you. You felt that because you were here, you could react, and I just reiterated the point of how disingenuous and scummy and how you tried to put words in our mouth with you here.
Or been to this, they say the South Pole doesn't even exist.
Do we? Is that what we say? Do you want to find a quote and actually quote somebody then? Who said that? You're just making this stuff up as you go along, my friend. It certainly seems so.
Which is just lunacy. But I want to give you a very easy, simple way to...
Produce a straw man argument, not substantiate it in any way, and then debunk it without actually saying anything to debunk it beyond shrugging your shoulders? I mean, it's amazing the talent that you possess is unending. Wow.
Debunk the flat earth.
And
so this is
affirming the consequent fallacy.
Yeah, here it comes.
This is the basic model. Now, here I've got another picture of an image of it. So we are on this giant manhole cover. Now, there's the sun, and
this is now your claim. So this numpty says we're on a giant manhole cover. What an idiot. Nah, mate, I don't think we're on a giant manhole cover. I mean, you do, because that's what you've just said. Let's hear you say it again, because it's your claim now. I mean, you thought with your ham-handed, shoulder shrugging that you could get away with just strawmanning us with this by suggesting that these are our ideas. Yeah, Dom Jolly tried the same exact garbage. Yeah, this is what flat earthers say. Now I'm going to say these things.
This is the basic model. Now, here I've got another picture of an image of it. So
here's the basic model that you are proposing. This seems like idiocy, proposed by a numpty, because I definitely don't see how this could possibly be our world. Definitely not. I mean, where'd you get the distance to the sun, for example? We ask daily for people to provide evidence of such nonsensical claims, but here's you making them. How'd you get this distance to the sun? You won't. So your stupid, nonsensical claim that you are making about a flat disk, otherwise known as manhole cover, according to you and your claim that you are now making, yeah, I'm just going to ridicule you for this stupid garbage that you think the world is, because you're saying it.
we are on this giant manhole cover.
No, we're not, numpty. Definitely not on a manhole cover. You're just a moron.
Now, there's the sun.
No, definitely not. How did you get the height to it? Nah, garbage, total garbage, mate. It's stupid. This is idiotic.
What's hilarious about this, though, is that I've been a flat earther for 7, 8 years now? I've not heard one flat earther ever describe Earth as a manhole cover. That's him.
Because we don't.
I
He
don't know
does.
where he got that from.
It's his ramblings. His claim. This is what he says the world is.
And I drew some little happy little clouds, a happy little cloud.
Oh, aren't you nice making some happy little clouds in your happy little model? I mean, to me, it just means you need committing. Because you think you're making a world? What do you think you are, God?
Those puffy little white happy little clouds there.
Really? See, the problem with these happy little clouds is that by virtue of your constant affirmation of your heliocentric worldview, this would be a 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum, aka outer space. Because that's your worldview that I can declare by. Not a stereotyping fallacy, but a fact of heliocentrism. This is a sky vacuum. See, what I'm asking is, how is it that these, in requirement of high-pressure gas to be in existence clouds, how is it that they and all the gas around them aren't instantly dispersing in line with entropic law into the area of volume? See, if this was the case, regardless of your stupid fantasy of a manhole cover world or a globe world, in substitution of the manhole cover, both have a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum, with the clouds not dispersing into them, along with all the gas that we're breathing at high pressure that also doesn't disperse into the sky vacuum that you have reified into existence. I mean, it's garbage, it's nonsense, but that's your worldview. You're entitled to believe whatever you like.
Now, all flat earthers all of them will say that both the sun and the moon are above the clouds.
All of us say that? I say I don't know what the sun is. So how can I be placing it above or below anything when I say I don't know how high it is? I literally ask daily for people to give me evidence of its elevation. Yet you're telling me that because every flat earther does, tells people that it's above or below or with respect to anything ever. I don't. Quite the contrary. You're wrong. I mean, what a freaking outrage. Seriously, what an outrage.
Now, they don't have a consensus on exactly how far up the sun is.
No, we daily ask people to demonstrate the evidence of its height like you've ascribed it in your model that you're now punting.
I've seen estimates anywhere from about 30 miles, believe it or not. Some of them actually.
Well, based on what? Yeah, we would decry that garbage just as much as you would. Meanwhile, you actually do have a positive claim for a distance to the sun by way of Keplerian scaling values we discussed in this very show, and Huygens' transposition of a flat Earth Polaris-centric measurement to give you radius. That's where your distance to your sun comes from, a flat Earth measurement of Polaris for distance and scale.
Actually say that 30 miles, up to somewhere around 3,000 miles.
Yeah, you've got 93 million miles. I don't claim the height of anything. Unlike your lies and stereotypes that you've used, because you said specifically that all of us claim it. We don't. I don't. I'm a flat earther and I can categorically say that's not the case. My questions in the housekeeping prove otherwise.
Up above the...
Yeah, it just made you a liar, didn't I? Yet you think you're a man of God. Shocking, isn't it?
The ground here, on top of our manhole cover. So the sun is up there, but whether it's 30 miles or 3,000 miles.
You haven't got a clue because you're just declaring that it's 93 million miles without backing it through anything other than a flat Earth angle measurement to Polaris for the R value to give you scale through Kepler and Huygens. I mean, you probably don't know that. I do. I know where your flat Earth origins lie.
Both the sun and the moon are above the clouds.
How do you know? What are they? What's the sun? Go on. I was waiting for someone from G+.
Plasma.
Says who?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it just sounds like he made that claim just now.
He is. He's simultaneously claiming both his position and his anti-position. Because that's what they do.
So if that is true, there is no possible way for the sun ever to illuminate the underside of the clouds.
Wow, really? Straight out of 2017. So we've got ample evidence of this in terms of a practical demonstration of a sun that's above something that is obscuring, lighting it from underneath. I can't remember the guy's name. It was someone who used to come on. I think it might be Chris Berry.
Chris Berry.
Yeah, he did a demonstration showing exactly that as he moves a light source away with a car and a tea tray that's obviously below the light source, illuminating the underneath section of the tea tray as he moves the light away from the position that he's filming. So you can demonstrate this. But it's a garbage straw man anyway. Who cares? None of us are claiming what the sun is. You claim it's 93 million miles away. You claim it's obscured by a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, all of which we can debunk. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat. The sun is used for a time component in mapping. Longitude system. Requirement being a flat Earth to measure it off.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense that Earth's measured flat with the sun and the angles thereof.
Now, flat earthers will say, well...
here comes another stereotyping fallacy. You might get called a liar again, depending on whether or not we actually say this, because we're actually flat earthers here.
The sun just appears to set because it gets further away from us, and from our vantage point, it looks like the sun is going down.
No. We say we don't know what the sun is. You say it's physically obscured by a geometric sphere edge horizon called Earth curve. as laid down in your geometric derivation of eye level and surface level that requires Earth be respectfully dealt with as a flat plane and that the eye level runs parallel with that flat plane for you to make an inference that there's a sphere edge below surface level that obscures your view of the sun. That's your positive claim. I don't need to make any claims about what the sun does at the horizon, and I don't. So yet another stereotype fallacy, yet another lie. I don't claim this. I don't try and explain what the sun does, because I don't need to. You need to when you say it's blocked by a sphere edge we debunked in 2020.
But dear friends, according to the flat earth model, the sun is always, always, always above the clouds. It has.
That's not my model. It's just becoming more and more outrageous as time progresses because it's just going to stick to a straw man that I'm not claiming.
To be. It is above the clouds. So there's no possible way for the sun's rays ever.
Go and check out Chris Berry's video. Hopefully one of the mods will stick the link to the Chris Berry video referring to when you can demonstrably show that what he has just claimed, regardless of what Earth is, because this is a complete straw man, non sequitur to the actual useful nature of the sun for a time component in mapping. That's how it's practically applied. Nobody gives a crap whether or not it's illuminating the bottom of the clouds, because it has no practical application. Meanwhile, we do actually use the sun for a time component when mapping Earth flat.
I think actually it was actually shown that officially they state that the light off the light reflected off of the Earth itself will light the underside of the clouds as well. I remember seeing something like that as well a while back. Some flat Earth channel put out something like that. You know, this is total and utter nonsense. What they have to do is physicalize, as in make the sun a tangible object to even make their argument. Because within their paradigm is a tangible object. So they're taking the things that are claimed within their paradigm, making a model that will be a straw man on us, and then putting those things that they've never supported from their paradigm into what they're calling an FE model, a flat earth model, and then handing it to us and saying, now, prove that. Prove what? You're the ones who is claiming this physical, tangible object, that this object is a physical, tangible thing that you can go to and has a measured distance and all the rest of it. So it's just a total burden of proof reversal.
Yeah, and if you're here,
that they can't support in their paradigm into a paradigm they're making up for us, and then we're supposed to support it.
And as there's over 100 people watching, if you're one of the flat earthers arrived here and gone, hang on a second, I thought we were claiming that. Yeah, you've been led astray by gurus who punt garbage to you. Yeah, the feast of nonsense is what we call it. So if this is all coming as a bit of a shock that we're not claiming any of this garbage, then yeah, you've definitely been led astray by a false guru in flat earth. My apologies. What can I say? You should have came here first. Please share the show.
From underneath.
And the real question would be, why would you want to make claims that you can't substantiate in any way? Why would you even want to do that? You just left the paradigm that literally has done that your entire life. Why would you want to turn around and now use that same weapon the same way? That's terrible.
Yeah, so as I say before, as there's over 100 people watching, a very warm welcome to you all. Please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. This is the very cutting edge of flat earth information. However, we do have to deal with these sorts of numpties.
The clouds and illuminate the underside of the clouds. All of us have seen this. We've all seen sunsets, right? And the underneath side of the clouds.
Say it with me, Chocolate. Affirming the consequent formological fallacy. If I see the light underneath the clouds, then the Earth is a sphere. The Earth is a sphere because I see the light underneath the clouds. It's amazing how people can affirm the consequence so easily.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Is illumined by the sun's rays. But if the sun is on top of the clouds, there is no scenario for the sun's rays to get underneath the clouds and illuminate the underbelly of those clouds.
See Chris Berry's video to demonstrate the complete contradiction of his statement. Go ahead, Brian.
He doesn't understand angles. He doesn't understand angles. The rays of the sun, when they're at straight 90 degrees above the clouds, won't light underneath of them. But when that sun is far enough away, then the angle of the light will. Do you know what I mean? He's just stupid.
Go on, Monkey. What did you want?
I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize I was off mute there.
That's no worries.
And
The
another thing,
only way this.
And there's more.
There's more. His sun sets. He thinks that there's a physical, tangible object going down behind the physical, tangible horizon. No, there's not. Officially, what you see at the horizon in the morning and the evening, I keep saying this for how many years I have to say it, is officially called the sun mirage. It's not the sun. They say the sun is not at that position. It's either not arrived there yet in the morning, or it's already gone away in the evening. And they also claim that their horizon is not a physical, is not a tangible location. They claim it's a constantly refracted location. So that would be a refracted horizon meeting a sun mirage. That's their official claim. How is that proof of a physical, tangible object going down behind a physical, tangible hill?
Perfect timing. How does that work with latitude?
It doesn't. That's the point.
If you're taking a refracted horizon to a refracted position, in this case of a sun that's not really where it's supposed to be because it's a mirage of the sun that's already gone below the geometric physical sphere edge horizon, that's at a tangent point in the maths, but simultaneously refracted up to meet a position of your eye when you inflate the maths of the ball that's supposed to be below your feet. Okay. However, if that tangent point that isn't a tangent point that's a refracted non-tangible position isn't representative of the ground in a geometric sense, then the horizon on a globe can never give you the latitude lines, can it?
No, because if you're trying to get your latitude between Polaris and the visible sea horizon, then we are getting a correct latitude between that visible sea horizon and Polaris. Now, that would mean that there is no globe. There is only a flat plane, because they have to claim that that visible sea horizon is a refracted horizon, which means that there's no way they could possibly get their correct latitude from that, between that refracted horizon and their Polaris.
Boom.
And Polaris.
Boom. So we do get latitude. We do use latitude. It is a measurement off a flat plane with an angle, and it does work, and there's no adjustment for refracted non-geometric positions that are globe related, because we do just measure it and deal with it flat. Correct, Brian?
Yeah, I literally put this question to Prototad, who is the celestial navigation expert on their side, and he had to admit he couldn't produce anything that would be a special correction, a special dip correction, or a special anything for the horizon when you're getting latitude with Polaris. The only thing he could produce were corrections for Polaris, which was celestial what they call celestial refraction, and that was it. He still had to claim the horizon was refracted. So he couldn't support anything. So he couldn't, and he's a acclaimed navigator himself, and he couldn't come up with any special corrections for that horizon. So the horizon is just the horizon, and for us it's a tangible sea horizon, but for them it's a constantly refracted position. So
hello,
no,
QE.
they have nothing.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
You've got a citation that I'm hoping you can provide on the live show that I'm going to do a plug for Ballbusters tomorrow. So you've got I can't remember who it was, Smithsonian or something along those lines, that describes how references of elevations are with respect to sea level and not the distance from the centre of the Earth. Do you have that citation to hand by any chance?
I can get it. Where do you want it?
Or just read it and state where it's from. I don't even need to see it on screen necessarily. Just need it verbatim from someone who knows what it is, because I just paraphrase it and I don't know where it's from.
Okay. Well, there's 3 of them. First one's by the Baltard's Alma Mater Wiki. Elevation is not to be confused with the distance from the center of the Earth. Then you got National Geographic. However, elevation is measured from sea level, not the center of the Earth. And then from Encyclopedia of World Geography, elevation can be defined as a measure of the height above mean sea level. End of 3 citations.
So just to this guy, Justin Peters, when you told your Jeopardy answer to your, let's call them congregation, YouTube audience, that the mountain that you referred to is actually higher because of its respect to the centre of Earth measurement. Yet we've got 3 citations that quite explicitly state that height is with respect to sea level. Because it is. And sea level is level. It's a flat earth proof. All elevations for anything ever are flat earth proofs because they're going to be with respect to a horizontal plane of reference for height that is universal across the entire known world. Mean sea level isn't the centre of Earth, and you made out that some Jeopardy answer was that to give a height of a mountain with respect to the centre of Earth would make it higher or lower. No, that's absolutely unequivocally incorrect. Just want to make that clear. Thank you, QE. Be here or be sphere if you are in the live audience for Ballbusters on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Central. Is that right? Yes, Nathan, you've got the times perfectly, even though you guessed them.
Oh,
Well,
hold
that's
on
wonderful.
a second. I thought I was off mute. 1 second. The times have gotten a little crazy. So it's 2 p.m. U.S. Central, 7 p.m. UK, 6 a.m. Sydney.
Damn, I was so close. I was an hour out. Not bad. Yeah, so be here or be sphere tomorrow, Ballbusters. There are going to be public sections, so if you did want to join the show, you can. And that is, as I say, on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. Anything else anyone wants to plug? Should we carry on doing this? We've got over 100 people watching. We might as well carry on with this Ministries video.
Works
Absolutely.
is if the Earth is round. And so this is one picture that I took. Here's another picture that I took from my iPhone showing the same thing. Clouds being illumined from underneath. So just a little bit of science here. The law of reflection.
Clouds being illumined.
What?
Illuminated. Yeah, see Chris Barry's video. Has anybody
Is
done
he
that out?
showing? Could you
Oh,
show the video to us here? Is he showing clouds that are just lit?
Yeah,
Because does
basically.
he realise that sunlight can even light a cloud like horizontally? That the light can just go through it horizontally. I don't know what's going on with this guy. And does he realise that iPhones and people, flat earthers have iPhones, and that's not anything new, taking photographs with iPhones? Does this fella think that all these people, including us, just never discovered taking photographs with iPhones?
No, well, he would be right. I mean, you and I both use a Motorola flip phone from the 90s, so I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah, that's it. That's why we're all wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, if we weren't all using that Nokia from the Matrix, we would be able to use iPhones and take pictures of clouds and affirming the consequent formal logical fallacies for our belief in a globe based on flat Earth measurements of Polaris.
States
What the hell's a Nokia?
What's a
Also,
Nokia? It's a phone. A phone.
Also, point of order, Your Honor. He said round and flat aren't mutually exclusive, sir.
He did.
And you would think he would know that, being that he's describing the Earth or flat Earth as a manhole cover. Jeez.
I don't know if you said cheese, but fine.
Reflection from a smooth surface, the angle of the reflected ray is equal to the angle of the incident ray. So in other words...
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
That's not angles.
Hang on. Isn't he describing something that would debunk the specular reflections claimed from the moon? Yes, Nathan, we covered it about 3 years ago.
I don't know what he's talking about, Nathan.
Oh, fair enough.
In other words, if you have a smooth surface, a reflective surface...
Yeah, he's talking about reflections.
At whatever angle the incident ray is coming up, say it's at a 45-degree angle.
With respect to a horizontal plane of reference. So you're going to need a flat Earth to describe these angles. You're using a flat Earth for this example, my friend. What an idiot.
When it hits the surface off of which it reflects, if it's...
What, like the flat surface to give a 45-degree angle of incident? Yeah? That flat Earth example that you're giving, yeah? Wow. I mean, that's cool. But you'll need a flat Earth for this.
Coming up at 45 degrees, it will then be reflected back down at...
What, off the parallel sky? I mean, all of this is indicative of a flat Earth description, my friend.
45 degrees, illustrated with this little drawing here.
With flat surfaces and angles of incident. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So, all that to say, the only way that you and I can see the underneath side of the clouds.
I've just got one question. How are we seeing clouds at all if the area above it is a 10 to the minus 17 Torr sky vacuum? See, my understanding of gas behaviour is that gas fills space. By nature, that's what gas does. It expands in all directions at a high rate of speed until it fills whatever containment it has available to it. In other words, gas fills space. So given that in your paradigm of a heliocentric sky vacuum-based ball world, how have we even got clouds? Because the gas would have filled the space. We'd all be suffocating at 10 to the minus 17 Torr at sea level. We'd be in a vacuum, my friend. You don't have the clouds in your world. So we can argue about how clouds that could only develop if we were in a contained system behave with light, but for you, you can't even have the clouds. Gas fills space in a heliocentric world. Unless you decide to ignore laws of nature like the second law of thermodynamics, as you must do to believe that the sky is a vacuum, as you do. Not a stereotyping fallacy like you used on us earlier, a fact of your religion in a ball world, in a sky vacuum, that violates the second law of thermodynamics. That's gas dispersion, entropy.
Is for light to be reflecting off of those clouds and coming back to our these two orbs sitting in our skulls.
How you even got that? If gas fills space. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, the only thing that slows down diffusion is resistance. So the denser the gas, the slower it diffuses. But if there's no gas, then there's nothing to stop the diffusion. So any gas that's not in the way won't get in the way of gas that's diffusing into an area of lower pressure. If you're into any open area, any area it can go to. So there's no reason within our paradigm for that gas that they have at 14.7 pounds per square inch of pressure at sea level. There's no reason for that to not instantly diffuse into this monstrous vacuum that they have.
Yep. Any more on the sky vacuum? Because his example's kind of falling short.
Fill the available volume.
Right, QE's given us an image. Did you want to talk us through this, QE?
No, I just thought it was appropriate since you brought it up.
Beautiful. What are we looking at?
Looks like a lake. Look at that water. It's crystal clear. Got a mountain on the right. Looks like you got a mountain on the left. Looks like you got a mountain straight in front of you. It appears to me that that's quite some distance away. If the Earth was curving, then you wouldn't get a mirror reflection like this. It would be like in a funhouse, i.e., there wouldn't be a specular reflection. It would be elongated, wouldn't it?
Yes. It isn't, because we've got a perfectly flat water with almost perfect calm and a perfect reflection of all three mountains in that water. Earth is flat. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
It's the land of misfit toys. It's not Earth Awakenings.
I'm going to make coffee. I'll be right back.
All right, so
Beautiful
Earth
for me, Neil.
Awakenings. Yeah, I was going to tell you that. Little birdie came in and told us as soon as we left the land of misfit toys, they all were attacking us, especially Nathan. And a bear leading the charge. So probably Dave Ratkia was in there too, and little Witsit retard that can't understand anything.
Who cares?
Who cares?
I care. Especially when they come here. Then why are you coming here then? If you don't want to learn anything, what are you here for? He's trying to derail the show. And people are I'm still trying to learn this stuff. And he comes in with his stupid nonsense. It's not even anything intelligible.
Yeah, but that's because he just doesn't understand why the latitude and longitude grid is an XY grid on the Mercator map, the transverse Mercator map. And he also said that different cardinal directions, there's only one cardinal direction, and that's north. Without north, we wouldn't have anything else. North is the only real direction, if you understand what I mean.
Brian, he's not asking to learn. He's asserting and saying, well, I'm just trying to gather the information. He's
No,
a lying sack of shit.
No, he thinks that we don't understand what we're talking about. That's what the problem is.
Exactly. I know.
Well, for right now, Neil, he's a useful idiot.
Okay.
Do you know what perpendicular means?
I would have taken the
Does he know
5,000
it?
pounds that he offered.
I'm sorry, I was talking. I heard him say perpendicular a number of times. Does he even know what that means?
I don't think so.
Ask him. Or don't.
What's up, fellas?
Guy.
Well, what's funny is
taxes.
That's true. What's funny is QE, I was doing this carpet job. This is many years ago. And I'm reading the instructions on it because it was a certain type of carpet. You had to read the pamphlet before you touched it. And it said, install the underlayment perpendicular to the carpet. And I was like, what the hell? I never seen that before. I was pulling my freaking hair out like, what the hell does this mean, perpendicular? I just roll the padding out and then I roll the carpet out. This was 10 years ago, so I didn't know.
That's an amazing story.
But it made sense after I learned what it did mean. Because if you don't do it that way, when you're stretching a carpet, it'll cause the padding to roll underneath. So it made sense to put it in perpendicular to the installation of the carpet.
Are we still
Where's
with
the
this
beef?
Or I got the beef. I told you that before. So, are we still in Discord?
I have no idea. Nathan,
I don't know if he came back in yet. Well, that was just a live show, so we got to be in Discord.
Discord.
Yeah,
Radio
you guys
show.
are in Discord.
Lost
Guys,
one,
you're
this
in
is
Discord.
lost three,
Nathan
you
went to
lost
make
two
coffee.
over.
Yeah, and everybody responded at once.
What did they? Calling Discord. It's Discord out there calling Discord. Last calling station.
Discord responding. You guys
Discord
are in the
responding.
after show. Nathan went to make a coffee. Talk amongst yourselves.
We should have
Over.
realized that when Georgie was trying to get in and QE said, I'm sorry, I was talking.
Oh, was that Georgie? Okay, go ahead, George. Not Jorge, but George. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was listening back, and the discussion on the table was 60 nautical miles per degree. And that's not a true statement. It's 60 nautical miles per degree of the co-altitude angle.
Well, the nautical miles are on the surface of the Earth. That's it's minutes of degree in the co-altitude, but on the surface it's 60 nautical miles because the minutes are transformed into nautical miles.
Yeah.
Where's Adam been? He says one thing for 30 seconds and that's it.
I think he's working.
He's talking.
Hey, D Rose. Nathan didn't know that he used to be in a pretty famous band.
Oh yeah, D's
In a
here.
what?
What's up, D?
In a what? In a what?
Pretty famous group.
We were trying to figure out what group you were in the other day.
Well, I wouldn't say it was famous. We didn't really make it big, but we were like,
So my granddaughter watches Peppa Pig.
hold on. I'm in lunchroom. We were
What was
I
the
was in a
name of
group.
it?
Well, ironically, it's called the Famous MCs. But this was like back in 80 something. And we were like a junior, we were like a junior, like a JV, junior varsity level famous group in New York.
So funny.
That was under the major.
I thought you played with some other group. I thought you were in some other group at one point. That was pretty
Well,
big.
yeah,
They said they were so.
well, no, I was supposed to be the leader of
Of course.
a group called they made Too Hype. What the damn
Say
name?
it! Say it!
Well, my buddy
Say
Eric
it.
McCain, who produced the group, he took over as lead singer
What group?
On the side.
because I left to go to the Navy.
You said in the bottom.
I know the name. Damn it. My boy Eric Moore, Eric Freedom.
Say it!
They went, put on my best. Can't believe that she said yes. She's
No, what's
impressed.
the name of the
This could be the
band?
part. I'm trying to think. The song was called Too Hype.
He's trying to jog his memory.
Do you want these?
I'm here. Hold on.
We know.
In touch. In touch. In touch. In touch.
In touch.
Yeah. ENTOUCH. In touch. Yeah. I was supposed to be the lead, I was supposed to be the lead singer of that group, but I left, hastily to join the Navy and got married young, dumb.
I didn't know you were a squid.
Oh yeah, man. Come on, bro. What is wrong with you? We had a long talk about phonetic codes, three, and niner.
Oh, that doesn't mean you're a friggin' squid. What did you do? Swab the deck?
No, I never swapped the deck. Remember I was saying I was a corpsman for the Marines? And you were saying you was making a joke talking about what y'all are called and what we were called. Remember that time we had the after show? It was about 18 months ago, one summer. Summer of 21, I think. Summer 22. Summer 22. And
What
we
the
were
hell
going over
were
the
you? What the hell kind of squid were you then? Shit.
I was a corpsman. Or I was a
What
doc
does
for
that
the
mean?
that means the medic for the Navy for the Marines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, medic for the Marines. Yeah, matter of fact, you were belittling me and somebody else's rank because of what you were. You said you were a grunt or something like that. What was the name you said?
A grunt's not a rank.
No, what? No. You were saying yeah, I know that. I'm saying not the rank. I'm talking about the MO.
Yeah,
You
I know what
infantry.
you are. We all know what you are as a squid. You're a friggin' pogue.
Yeah, there it is.
A pogue. I knew it.
Who else was in the military besides me and QE? Somebody else was, right?
Refracted.
He's pogue
Right.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' pogue.
I did 6 months of intensive military training, but I wasn't in the army.
Get that background off, Rose.
Mute, D-Rose, mute. He said he was in a lunchroom, so.
Yeah.
I just muted.
he brought up Platoon the other day. You could hear somebody say what I just said in that movie. It was Bunny, right? He was in the they were in the rear, and Bunny was talking. He had that beer can in his hand, and they ripped the beer can off with his teeth or something, then handed it to the lieutenant. That right around that scene.
Yeah, Barons comes into it.
Yeah, it wasn't Barnes just yet. I like how you say Barnes. Wasn't Barnes just yet. It was Bunny. He's in the tent. Then the lieutenant walked by and he ripped it off with his teeth or something. But right around that area, he was talking about something with that brother, and he goes, "Freaking pogues."
Yeah.
But my reference was to you, because if you look at Barons in that movie, every time Barons turns up, the I'm going to use the term atmosphere changes. Things get more tense. People stop talking to each other. There's a lot of kind of, he kind of calls people out. Your man Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes, he's all that in a bag of chips, right? He comes walking into that bunker, and they're all planning to get him, right? They're all planning to whoop his ass or something, and he comes walking in there. He's drinking a fifth of Jack Daniels. Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, you guys are all hurt. Y'all want to kick ass? Kill me."
Yeah. Yeah, they do a lot of talking with drinking, and when Barnes is not around, and when Barnes turns up, then it's nobody can talk.
He looked at all of them. He goes, "Kill me."
Yeah, there's always one of them in there. There's always the person that everyone doesn't like, but then nobody wants to address them.
I got that movie taped. I might watch that. What am I watching now? What was I watching last night?
Oh, what movie? I didn't hear.
Platoon.
Oh, Platoon with Tom Berenger. Yes.
Yeah, he's Barnes.
Yeah, I know. You said Barnes, I remember. He was a mean son of a bitch, wasn't he?
What's on the agenda for Ballbusters tomorrow?
Big Bang.
Big Bang? Lemaitre?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, didn't you read the title? It said The Big Bang and plus bonus pseudoscience.
No, I did not read the title.
Yeah. Go over a little bit nebular hypothesis, and then the fairy tale sun, and then how suns form, and then in that vein.
Did you hear much of the good pastor today?
I didn't, just a little bit towards the end when you got there. What else did you say?
Go on.
Got a quick what?
I got a
You're
quick question. Is
Sit
that
down, Doug.
is that a Kumu virus right there in the black swan with the head on that little still picture right there that Nathan's showing? Oh, it went away now.
Yeah, that's virus. That's a Kumu virus.
That is, I thought it was. He looked like he sounds.
What, a Rasta?
Coronavirus is back.
Yeah, but I could just, how you hear somebody's voice, you could just picture what they look like.
Yeah, he looks like a street guy, doesn't he?
No, he looks like somebody that just likes to bullshit you and argue all the time.
Yeah, he does got that look about him.
He looks like a 3-card Molly type of guy. That's like, hey, come here,
Why don't you walk me through this?
That is the classic one. Man, that was funny. And Chuck goes like that. Here's how you sound. Why you get me proof of flat earth?
Yeah, good thing I taped that.
Was that on an after show then?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it was on the live.
I think it was live.
We were all there. That was hysterical. I'll never forget that. That was classic.
We don't
I
need
said
to
you went
forget.
up about 4 octaves.
we
You
we
did.
don't need to forget that.
They do go up several octaves, don't they, when they're caught? Like on
Yeah,
a
yeah, because he started out with, why don't you walk me through this?
that was straight lines and bent lines from memory, wasn't it?
Well, let's listen to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't you have the actual sound bite? I've never heard it. I've always heard Nathan. I've always heard Nathan imitating him and mocking him, but I want to hear him actually doing it. If you can find that one, Virus actually saying it.
Then Master B.
Okay.
He doesn't say them words. He just says words that sound like it, and Nathan ad-libs it or whatever.
Yeah.
Gem Pandas, and they were educating me from Andrew Thomas Young's paper. They're saying, yeah, those light rays, they're curving to your eyeball, right?
Yeah, buddy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Oh, they are?
Line of sight is never bent.
You haven't got a straight line of sight on a globe. It's all bent.
Those light rays, they're curving to your eyeball.
Yeah, buddy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Line of sight is never.
Okay.
Gem Pandas, and they were educating me from Andrew Thomas Young's paper. They're saying, yeah, those light rays, they're curving to your eyeball, right?
Yeah, buddy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Oh, they are?
Line of sight is never bent.
You haven't got a straight line of sight on a globe. It's all bent.
Those light rays, they're curving to your eyeball.
Yeah, buddy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, that's not the right clip.
Yeah, let's play.
Line of sight is never bent. They're curving to your eyeball.
Yeah, buddy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Line of sight is never bent.
Calling all cars. We have
Numpty dipshit.
all cars, please assist. All cars, please assist.
So why don't you walk me through this?
What you want me do
He's
this?
gone up 10 octaves.
Huh? What you get me do this? Prove a flat Earth? Huh? What you get me do this?
Done.
What you get me do this? Proving a flat Earth? Huh? What you get me do this? Proving a flat Earth?
That is how you sound, Virus. That is
What
how
you get me
sound,
do this?
sir.
Proving a flat Earth?
Damn, walk me through this.
Damn, bro!
Someone-
You got me proving a flat Earth, bro. What you get me do this, bro?
Dude.
There you go.
Did you hear chocolate? He said, I'm out.
You know, it's funny too. Speaking of rays, my son had just brought homework where he was learning the difference between a point, a ray, a vertex, and a line, and they had to graphically draw it, and none of them were curved. They were all straight. And that's an 8-year-old learning that.
Yeah, Q's got a nice little musical interlude clip that he'd use now, where it's like ballers
Say what?
smoking on cloud 9, something like that. And then he's got double speaking pretender clown interjected in between it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. The Doors-esque thing.
Yeah.
He's got the guy. The first bit would be spoken by a guy on a like a bar stool in the middle of a smoky lounge with a
What's the one
cigarette
where
and a
he sounds
polo
like
neck.
a blues singer? Sorry, Nathan.
No, like the poet. Like ballers dying on nature's highway. It's the guy in the polo neck with a cigarette on a bar stool in a comedy club, not making anyone laugh.
He should be snapping his fingers through.
Yeah, that's the Doors, though.
The Doors.
Indians scattered on Don's highway bleeding, but I changed the words.
Very good.
Oh, thank you. It was back in my creative days.
Now you get away with the soundboard use. Just there's some things that I can't do that you can, and you seem to get away with it. How, I don't know.
Well, you got to clip them because you can't run them completely, right? Even some of my old ones I can't run again because, especially the predator laugh. That one, if I go full predator laugh, it'll ding me. So I
Oh,
got to
really?
cut it. Yep.
I'll copyright you for the full Predator laugh,
Yes.
which is actually Carl Weathers laughing, is it not?
No, it's not. It's your man Billy, the
Oh yeah,
Native
it's the
American
Indian guy. No, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
Indian guy.
Indian. Yep.
After hearing the pussy joke. They don't make them like they used to.
No, those predators, man. The first one and the second one, they're classic. I like. I think I like the first one better. The second one's not bad.
Same goes for Aliens.
I like the second one.
Same goes for Matrix. They just don't make them like they used to.
Nope.
Or I had to walk away. I came back. Now, I missed what y'all was saying. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, my 8-year-old had an assignment that he brought home. Speaking of what that previous thing was saying, what Chocolate was talking about with the rays and everything. So they had to graphically draw rays. So a ray is a point with a straight line going from the point. That was considered a ray. A vertex, I think, was a point on each end of a line. And the line was in both directions infinitely straight. That's how the graphic. So if you could picture that in your mind.
Yeah, it's all
And that-
geometric terms. Geometric,
in geometry. I guess they learned that in geometry. But in their graphical diagrams, none of them were curved. You know what I'm saying? Everything was straight. So, they learned this at 8 years old. So anytime somebody mentions the word line or ray, you can't be talking about anything curved unless you specifically say whatever description term is for a curve.
But don't get Jedi mind tricked. Hold on.
Thank
Rays
you.
don't exist. You
Exactly.
realise that, right?
Mhm.
Rays are a mathematical idea. They don't really exist.
Well, of course. But I'm saying though,
They're geometric.
Yeah, it's a geometric term, and it's from a point with a line coming from the point going outward, going away, straight. That's the ray. Coming from a point and going out.
That's astonishing. Can you say it again? I didn't quite get it yet.
Huh? I know I
Be
sound like
nice
Rain.
to D. He's hardly in here anymore.
I know sometimes I sound like Rain Man saying it, but I'm just saying,
You do.
See, D-Rose got some thick skin. You can't offend him.
No,
That's why I couldn't do that to you, you little hush puppy.
48 toothpicks. 48 toothpicks.
What was that, Nathan?
48 toothpicks.
Yeah, Rain Man.
What was that?
You've obviously never actually watched Rayman, have you?
There you go.
Yes, I have.
48 toothpicks.
Yep. Gotta catch Wapner.
You know the scene in the when there's making a phone call? When Tom Cruise.
Judge Wapner!
You know the scene where Tom Cruise is in the phone booth with what's the other guy's name? I forgot his name now. Dustin Hoffman. When they're in that phone booth and he says, "Ray, did you fart?" Well, he did. He really actually did. and just stays in character,
On the
mumbling
set,
after
for
farting
real?
in a very
No
small.
way.
Yeah.
Was that ad lib?
Yeah, it just carried on. They both carried on, but Tom Cruise goes, "Did you fart, Ray?" He just kept in character, so he just carries on mumbling after letting off a disgusting smell in a phone booth, which I thought was really funny.
Nice.
That's genius.
You remember Marathon Man?
Vaguely.
Absolutely. Is
What a
it
movie.
safe?
Yeah. Is it safe?
I don't remember Marathon Man. The name
You
sounds
have to watch that movie, boy. It's absolutely
Another
brilliant.
propaganda movie,
Hey,
probably.
time out. Who starred in that? Because it sounds familiar.
Dustin Hoffman.
Marathon Man.
And Laurence Olivier. Great
Okay, I
movie.
gotta go back.
Absolutely brilliant. And so was what's his name is in it as well. He used to be in Dynasty. Oh, what's his name? Oh, he's gone out of me. I can't remember his name now.
Lee, the one that played in Dynasty, not the one that played in Dallas, but Dynasty.
Yeah, I think it was Dynasty. I think it was he was one of the Carringtons, or either that or it was Falcon Crest.
You sure it wasn't Dallas? The guy that played Jeannie's husband, and he was the mean guy on Dallas.
Nah, it wasn't Lee Majors.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Dallas.
Okay,
Definitely wasn't Dallas. It was either Dynasty or it was Falcon Crest. Okay, we used to watch Falcon Crest all the time.
What? I was a
I thought
paint
you
place
told us you
guy.
were a big fan of Falcon Crest.
No, didn't watch that shit or Dynasty. What the hell? Those are soap operas.
My thing was freaking All My Children.
Oh, brother.
That was my ex-wife's thing. You, what do you call him, Huey? You hush puppy.
Listen, I only got one channel at the time, and I only had 2 hours of TV time with the generator filled with gas. So that's all I could get.
That's when you
Was
go
Monday
outside.
Night Football and All My Children.
What about Harold Castle and McCormick?
Nah. No. All my children got set up on the VCR for my mom, and then I went outside. There was nothing to watch. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the later years. Hey, listen, in the 80s, General Hospital was the shit. Luke and Laura's marriage was right up there with Prince Charles and Princess Di. Come on, guys.
Shut up, Neil.
Now I do remember my ex-wife talking about the one Susan Lucci, the actress. That was the main woman, Neil, on All My Children.
Yeah, she was Paisan.
She never won an Emmy, man. And that was like one of the most things that the fans hated about, the Emmys, is that as much as she'd been on that show for like 30-something years, she was always nominated but never won.
Yeah, they made a commercial about it. I want my Emmy.
Yep.
I'm going to name out an obscure actor from way back in the 80s. Chuck Connors.
Oh, yeah, Chuck Connors, man.
Such nonsense. That guy is some nonsense. Chuck Connors.
Chuck Connor.
What about hold on.
rubbish?
Here's the heartbreaking. Rock Hudson turned out to be a boy butt bandit. Oh,
yeah, he was with Gomer Pyle. Everybody knew that shit.
I didn't know that. Oh my God! Hold up, Gomer Pyle was.
Gomer Pyle's a baddie boy.
Oh my! See, I didn't even know Gomer was in this. Golly! Did not even know that.
Yeah, Gomer Pyle, the guy from that
Guess who else?
Yeah, he was a Hershey Highway dude all the way.
Guess who else they said? James Dean.
Hold up. Slow down.
Bruh,
Slow down.
They put him on the list, Neil. They put James Dean on the list. The man of all men. They put James Dean on the list in that crowd, bruh.
That's a lie.
Okay, you got to look investigate. Maybe they were just
What are you
tagging
talking
everybody
about,
with it.
D?
He's not the
What?
man of all men. That was
I'm just
John
saying.
friggin' Wayne.
John Wayne.
Not
Exactly.
John Wayne.
John
He's a
Wayne.
joke. No way. Steve McQueen.
Yeah, Steve McQueen. That's right. Brian's right. He trumps him.
Hold
Is
up,
he on the
time out.
list?
Steve McQueen's on the list?
He was no joke.
What list?
No.
What's
Oh,
this
okay.
list about? What's this
Okay.
dodgy list
A
about?
flag list.
No, you
A
forget
what list?
Hershey
man of all
Highway
men.
list.
Hershey
I
Highway.
don't know
We
what
talking about
that is.
No, we talking
A
about
one-eyed
guys.
bandit.
Yeah, we talking about guys. We talking about actors.
Knuckleheads.
We're talking about actors who, as boys, we admired them and wanted to emulate and be like, and they turned out to be boy butt chasers.
Yeah, okay, but why do we need to go into that? I don't know, just talking about actors. Why do we have to go?
Well, we
All
did.
right, so let's go. We're changing. Steve McQueen. Now he was the freaking man. Did all his freaking stunts.
Yeah.
He
That
did?
motorcycle scene in The Great Escape was him.
Okay, so he was the
Yeah.
first guy to do that. Okay, I thought he was
Remember
one
the
of
car
those.
chase in Bullet? Absolutely brilliant. Best
All
car,
That
car
was
chase
him.
ever.
Okay. So Charleston Heston, no. Clint Eastwood, no. They're not.
No,
They're
that's
not.
what you mean?
Get
Yes or
your
no to what?
stinking paws
No,
off
no, no.
me,
I'm talking
you
about.
damn dirty
No,
ape.
no. We're not. We offer the query thing. We're talking about just being like the macho men, the men of Hollywood that held it down.
Well, you'd have to say that Clint Eastwood was the top of the
Burt
pile, more or less, right up there with
Of
that.
course.
You know what I
Burt
mean?
Reynolds. Burt Reynolds. Come on.
Burt Reynolds, yeah, as well. What's his name? Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson. There you go.
Charles Bronson.
What about Richard Roundtree?
Charles Manson. Oh, he was.
Of course.
He was a
Richard,
killer.
Yeah, Richard Roundtree. What was his other? You know who I met a long time ago?
Although
Who's
he
the
never
guy that
killed anybody, Charles Manson.
Not Charles Manson.
Charles Bronson.
I know, but I'm saying Charles Manson actually never killed anybody.
I know he had other people killing for him.
He's not an actor, man. Not
Can we
that
change
we're
the
aware
subject?
of.
I heard the name.
What name?
I'm just saying, talking about famous celebrity killers isn't a great topic to be recording.
Well, I wasn't talking about celebrity killers. Neil brought celebrity killers into it.
Wow, Brian, you threw me right under the bus. I'll never rob a bank with you. It was him.
Oh, what an insult! I'll never rob a bank with you.
I know, right? So Nathan, any UK stars besides Lathan? What's his name? He's pretty cool. The bald-headed guy with the shadow beard. Seems like he never shaves. Jonathan. What's his name?
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham. That's the man. You ever saw that movie? A Man's Wrath, A Wrath of a Man, whatever. That was good.
Yeah, but he's more like a nowadays kind of a guy. He's not really one of the classic guys.
Okay, so
who's the old school guy?
Give us a classic. Mention one. A classic. Who's a classical one?
John Wick's a homo.
Oh, here we go.
John Wick's a homo.
Absolutely.
Stop it.
Nonsense.
John Wick's a homo. What does he play? How about Mr. Bean? What about Mr. Bean?
Michael
Keanu
Caine,
Reeves.
he was excellent.
Michael Caine, yes.
Michael
Very
Caine.
good.
Okay. David Caine? No. Michael Caine, is he the one that played in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about
brilliant.
Steve Martin, the jerk was freaking way ahead.
Oh
of his
my
time.
God, that was hilarious.
That Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, that was pretty freaking good.
Yeah, that was good. When Steve Martin was he was pissing on himself. That was one of the funniest parts.
Ruprecht.
Ruprecht.
That was his name, Ruprecht. Yeah, was that his name in the movie?
When Dr. Schopenhauer, remember, was going to test to see if, I can't remember Steve Martin's name, screen name in it, see if he was only if his inability to walk was only psychosomatic, he started lashing the legs off him with a
Oh yeah. He was trying not to.
this big raw joke.
Yeah, he was trying to hold it in.
Look what I found. Dr. Schopenhauer. It's like the face on him. Brilliant. Just so simple. Such a stupid movie, but brilliant. Like Michael Caine, Dr. Schopenhauer. I need to take a bit of a run at it. He made space to give a proper run up and lash the legs off him. The other had to just sit there like nothing happened.
All right, we done with the movie talk.
Well, have you any other movies you want to mention?
I have a question. Has there been a machine yet, or some type of device, or anything that's been authenticated to be an empirical evidence of any measurement distance from the Earth's surface to any celestial body at all?
No, it never happened. They just it's a ratio based off of angular sizes and pre-assumptions.
Okay.
So there's
How
no
do they-
measurement.
Okay. Oh, and it's off of angular
Unless they
sizes.
say laser ranging or something like
Okay.
that. Some stupid nonsense like that. That's based off a calculation and a pre-assumption.
Okay, and the pre-assumption is what? The
That they're on a
distance of the
globe
celestial.
of a radius 3959 miles.
Right. Which they acquired with
Which
an
is also
angular
a straw
measurement.
man.
Right.
How's that thing go? How's that thing go with the perspective again? Perspective again?
Oh, don't do that.
Curvature?
No, don't do that.
Huh?
It was
Why
funny
not?
2 or 3 times.
It was what?
Funny 2 or 3 times.
It was funny too. What the hell are you talking about?
You're going to get Brian to go through the perspective hijacking again, aren't you? I can just feel it coming.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be funny.
Oh, okay.
Am I not allowed to do it?
No, of course you are. I just thought he was doing it for comedic effect. Like,
no,
we drag him through doing that all the time, and then once he's done, we're like, yeah, that one. Can you explain that for us? After he's just explained it. I just thought you were doing it for comedic effect. That was all. Obviously,
No,
not.
I think he just wants it out there for a reason.
Fine.
You know. So yeah, so a person on a globe Earth of 3959 mile radius with their eye line at the water, that's 0 degrees, which would mean that their eye line is at the point of tangency. A 6-foot boat sailing away from them will disappear from view 3 miles away due to being blocked by Earth curve. Now, a person on a horizontal plane where angular size change with distance is accounted for, a person with their eye line at the water at 0 degrees again, will have a 6-foot boat disappear from view, apparently disappear from view 3 miles away because the 6-foot boat will reach an angular size of 0.02 degrees, which is the average angular resolution limit, or which is the angular resolution limit of the average human eye. So that means that in both scenarios, that boat will disappear. The 6-foot boat will disappear. Now, that means there's only 3 options. Either the reason the 6-foot boat will disappear is because of Earth curve, it's because of perspective, or it's because of both. So if we take a situation where there is both Earth curve and perspective, which is an angular size change with distance into account, then at 1.8 miles away, the bottom 3 foot of the boat will be blocked by Earth curve, but the top 3 foot of the boat then will have an angular size of 0.02 degrees. So what will happen is in a scenario where both Earth curve and perspective exists, is that the boat will disappear at 1.8 miles away, less than 2 miles. But we know that in reality, that the boat will disappear at 3 miles away. So that means only our curve or perspective, which is our curve or angular size change with distance, can be responsible, right? So it's a process of disqualification. So we know that angular size change with distance exists, disqualifying the existence of our curve. That's the end of that. And
Well
making
said.
the Earth a
Well said.
horizontal plane.
Well said. Unless they move the goalposts. Unless they
Can't.
move the goalposts.
Where can they move them to?
Well,
You know what I
they
mean?
can say now that it's now 12 point something per square mile or something like that. They could just extend it.
They can't make it bigger. They can't make their globe
Yeah.
bigger or smaller. They can't do that.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Mathematically, they can't do that.
So they're stumped. They're stumped.
Yeah, they're stumped with no Earth curve. They're stuck with perspective. That's the whole point. It's a process of elimination. You eliminate, there's 3 options: Earth curve and angular size change with distance, or angular size change with distance. And you disqualify angular size change with distance and Earth curve because the boat would disappear sooner than it actually does in reality. And then you disqualify Earth curve because if it's Earth curve that's causing it, because we've just proven that both Earth curve and perspective can coexist together, that means that only Earth curve or perspective can exist. So when the boat disappears at 3 miles away, only one of them can be responsible. Now we know angular size change with distance, perspective, all perspective effects exist, which means that we've just eliminated the existence of the globe and Earth curve. It's been eliminated. So that's what it is. It's an elimination process.
Because even the masters admit it's a 3 mile of a conversion angular distance where the image appears to disappear. Because you even look that up in visual acuity when we do ophthalmology. They'll say the distance that we'd be able to see is 3 miles with the naked eye with a 20/20 vision.
Yeah, I mean, if your eye is at the waterline and that 6-foot object moves away from you 3 miles, it's going to reach 0.02 degrees. The average human, which is the angular resolution limit of the average human eye. I mean, you know what I mean? So you know that you work within optics.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So how could optics exist? Let's go one further. How could optics exist and Earth curve also exist? You can't. Either opticians exist or the globe exists. It's that simple, isn't it?
Yep.
I like it because it's very simple. It just kind of disqualifies. You have 3 options and you end up with 1. You know, you can't go past that.
And what was Whitsitt? Because I couldn't really hear the whole conversation. What was Whitsitt having a problem with? What was he doing to self-inflict stupidity upon himself?
Kind
with
of a problem
regard
with
to
coherency as usual.
Hold on, Chewy. What was the fallacy you said it was?
Special pleading.
Yes. No. You said something else.
No, I
There's
didn't.
another one you said. Yeah, you told us something else.
Well, he also did.
You said you'd have to think about it. The other one you said.
Well, he also did use an appeal to the future fallacy because he said if in the future, but the main one is what Huey is saying, which is special pleading.
What's an appeal to incredulity? How do you say that word?
Oh, personal incredulity because you haven't seen it or it hasn't been demonstrated to you, therefore it's not true.
And it's called personal incredulity?
Yes.
Incredulity.
Incredulity.
Oh, incredulity. Incredulity. That's why I love hanging with you guys, man. Y'all vocabulary is just very impressive. Incredulity. Okay.
Whitsitt's main argument was that he agreed that when we raise an altitude, like up at the height of an airplane, that the stars, the angle to the same celestial body won't change. So the point on the ground and the airplane 6 miles above, that same, or a point on the sea and the airplane 6 miles above that point on the sea, the angle will be the same. Now, they also used these in the SR-71, so you're going to be going a lot higher than the commercial airliners, right? So you'd be talking maybe 8 miles up with the SR-71. So we know up to 8 miles. Now, we don't know anything other than that. And so Whitsitt was saying that because we don't know that if you went higher, that they wouldn't change, that the angle wouldn't change, that means that there is a possibility. But you can't make that argument because you have to pre-assume that he can make it if he wants, but it's a bad argument because, for a start, there's absolutely zero evidence in reality for that. That's number one. Number two, you have to pre-assume that the celestial bodies are a tangible thing that has a height. Do you know what I mean? You have to pre-assume that they have a height. You know what I mean, to them. Because for something to have a height, it's measurable. We can't measure the height to them. So that means they sit outside our 3D terrestrial world. They don't adhere to those rules, which is the point. And we have geometry in our 3D terrestrial world, and they do not adhere to that geometry. And he's trying to say that, well, they could be really, really high, and the 6 mile whatever altitude change is not enough to cause a change in the angle, which makes no sense because you can't, as Adam said yesterday, he said to even do that in a piece of software, you'd have to make sure the software does not adhere to geometry. Because if you change the angle, the altitude even a tiny bit, regardless of how high you put the celestial body, that if you move the point in GeoGebra or CAD up slightly, even the tiniest amount in ratio to a massive height, that angle is still going to change. The angle will change because you have to, so that's why that's the thing about them. You would have to first prove that they're tangible to even start asserting that they could be at a massive height that's so high that, and then you'd have to prove that in geometry it's possible to make a fraction of a change of altitude or height in geometry and the angle not change, which is impossible. That angle will always change. So I don't know why he needs to make the argument or what good it is to him or why he thinks that I feel that he has some belief himself to do with ether or something, and that's why he's trying to argue the point that for him maybe the celestial bodies need to be tangible somethings. I don't know, but I just, it's a completely losing position. I don't know why he argued so hard for it.
Wasn't height of the stars, it was distance.
Yeah, but that would be a height off of a flat plane. I know we call it a distance, but this distance is more of a heliocentric claim, isn't it? The distance to the sun, because they don't have a horizontal plane. So it is a distance as opposed to a height. That's why I use the term height. I don't think it matters, but
yeah, it was all conflated and convoluted. It was pretty stupid. As soon as he said he agreed with there is no change, if you go up higher, the argument was over. Actually.
he started bringing into it non-Euclidean geometry and different things like that. And I was just pointing out to him, look, those things aren't geometry. Like the reason
They were
you
all
have to create
hearings away from the point anyway.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that all those kind of things, like non-Euclidean geometry, why does that exist? It exists so they can make claims about the celestial bodies and stuff like that, about the celestial bodies and that, within a heliocentric paradigm. So what's non-Euclidean geometry? It's not geometry. That's what it is. Non-Euclidean is not geometry because there's no such thing as Euclidean geometry. Euclid just detailed it. There's either geometry or not geometry. And non-Euclidean, as they call it, is just not geometry. There's no geometry involved. It's nonsense. That they had to assert just to make things work within their paradigm. Like Einstein is heavily guilty of that. And I found it strange that Whitsitt was bringing up that, which is paralleling Einstein. It's like Einstein also needed this. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me that someone who can make such good arguments can turn around and make such a bad one and continue to argue it. It makes no sense to me. Why would you do that? There's no logical sense in that. If you understand what I mean. Where is the logic in that? Because he has proven outright that he's able to take and make a logical argument and hold people to task on it. So how can he just go from being able to do that to doing the complete opposite? I mean, what could you come up with? Schizophrenia? What could you come up with for him to do that? You know, how can you go from something so obviously logical and solid to something that's totally not? I don't know how he does that.
With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!